Yeah, that was like the last match, so top eight's gonna start in just a moment.
All right,
Let's see.
exciting stuff.
Yeah, a lot of red decks. Oh, the right all make eight? Really? Let's see. Let's look. Let's look.
Looks like it.
Wow, they squeaked in.
Uh, I'm gonna put the top eight on like a little notepad or something, so I don't have to
Yeah,
keep.
so top eight. What do you want to watch? It's up to you. You're
Let's watch.
driving.
Let's watch Baker. Let's watch Baker.
Sure, why
All right.
not? Baker versus Appa. Appa is
Love
playing
it.
mono red. Um, Pretty standard mono red list. Let me just pull it up. Pretty standard. They're playing like main deck Ferocidons, which could be pretty annoying. Only two Weaver Guy Beasts, two Zergos, so they're sane. They're sane people. Two Earthshakers. This is pretty weird. They lost. They did the J Mecha. They lost round one, and then they run every round since. So that's pretty cool.
Classic.
Baker's only lost to the top seed, which is Zezian. They're playing
Okay.
Blue Black Delver. Just like in the kickoff tournament, they played the exact same deck. Very
I also
similar.
played the same. I also played
Yeah.
the same deck. Captain and Johnny. Thank you for the follow. All right. Let's hop in. I'm hopping in here.
Okay, they're in. Okay, we're in. We're all in. All right. Appa won the die roll. Probably makes a big difference in this matchup.
I would guess
Uh,
so. Yeah. I mean, red deck wins always loves being on the play, but especially
yeah.
against a two-color deck where they're going to have some number of tap lands necessarily, it's always rough. Whenever I see a hand with like double tap land on the draw, I'm like, oh man, this is like even if I don't know what my opponent's playing, I'm like, I know they're on red deck wins because I have two tap lands on the draw. You know.
How do you feel about this? So the red deck here is playing Gataxian Probe, but unlike the other red decks I've usually seen, they're not playing any sort of it's Baker one, I'm sorry. But they're not playing any sort of prowess cards. So there's no lava
Yeah,
runners.
no,
There's
that's literally what. There's no. That's literally what happened to the other red deck too. There was another one in the last round that we watched that had the same thing. Their only payoff for probe was like one copy of Grim Lavamancer. It's
yeah, like how
incredible.
do you feel about that? How do you feel about like replacing lands with probe?
I don't like it. I think it's not great. But
Yeah.
I mean, they're in
Like
top eight, and
yeah,
we're not. So
we're just here. I mean I like Spike Hazard a lot. I think that's a way better representation of like a
yeah,
land
I
that's a
agree.
spell.
Yeah, I agree. I think I would much rather have Spike Field. It also
Yeah,
is just really good against Hermit Druid.
for sure, for sure.
It exiles it. All right.
Biggest bet here is just to kind of like continually kill everything and then resolve a Tassiger because there's no way they're going to be a Tassiger. They'd have to use two spells on it, and you're pretty happy about that.
Right. Yeah, Tasker definitely stabilizes really well here. The red deck keeps shocking itself. Probably not going to get too punished in this matchup. They do get to see what's in the hand, which isn't nothing, but I mean, unfortunately, we as viewers don't get to.
Well, I mean, the point is to draw a land. If they don't draw a second land, then it's all for naught.
Right, and this is what I talked about this in the last. Okay, so they do have the second land. I talked about this in the last game, last match. We saw this exact scenario happen where the red deck kept one land probe and then kept missing land drops, which is like, well, you messed up your mulligan because of the probe. Now that said, they ended up winning anyway, so maybe their one lander actually panned out regardless.
Yeah,
All
I
right,
mean,
so we're gonna
did they
Thought
just
Scour.
they just what did they do? Oh, they domed they killed the Delver. That's fine, I guess.
We're gonna
Looks like
Thought
he's gonna.
Scour, then we're gonna
I think he's
cycle
reanimating.
reanimate.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
I like this. I like that. It's like it's another like X4, so it's hard to kill. Needs two spells.
agreed.
You're
Dealing
pretty.
40 yourself, obviously, definitely not free in this matchup. But like now that they've used 4 damage of burn spells on it, it's basically like you kind of, you broke even on life anyway. Like they would have just pointed those upstairs, and you're kind of up on tempo because this drew. I guess this also drew you a card already when you cycled it. Um, so it's like I guess you're technically up a card in this exchange, right? Because I
Yeah,
mean,
I totally
obviously, because
agree. Because like you have advantages because like you're playing Treasure Cruise if you have the blue deck. So you want to just
yeah,
like trade. You want to one for one your opponent. If your opponent two for himself, it's like That's great because then you can just catch up with Treasure Cruise, and then you're just ahead on card economy. That's really where you want to
Right.
be.
Agreed. Yeah.
Let's
So
see
this
what.
looks like a Delve spell. It's
Yeah.
probably Tassiger because it's black.
Let's see what made top 16. I want to look real quick while we're just waiting for this. Arco Verde, ninth place, mono red. Shadow Water was 10th place. I'm clicking the worst spots. Okay. Shadow Water played. What did they play? I think they played like a. They played black red mid range. A lot of black red mid range. Manu on a black rain manner. Was on 10th or 11th. Willis Berto. Orzhov mid range. Interesting. They played your. They played. Wow, they didn't even play like hero. It's just straight Orzhov. Wow, the obs of that. It's actually insane. Honorbound, I think also played Orzhov. That was actually on my list too of things I wanted to play Orzhov. But Honorbound's list is
So
completely different. This
this
is
is kind of
game.
interesting.
This is actually.
So they had a Ferocidon, and it's kind of interesting. So I've seen some decks that are playing Ferocidon and Chain Whirler, and I've seen some decks that are doing neither. But I haven't seen very many decks that are playing one or the other. And it looks like they decided that Ferocidon is better than Chain Whirler. I don't actually think it is. I think Chain Whirler might be better um, than
It,
Ferocidon, but it's definitely an interesting question.
I would say that Chain Whirler is worse because of if you're expecting things like um, the Honor Guard, Tokali Honor Guard, or Hushwing Grift, then Chain Whirler doesn't
True,
do anything.
true, true. Yeah, that's true.
That's why like
Maybe I,
when I picked my deck, I didn't really want a lot of cards that had like enter the battlefield effects. Wow,
Ferocidon
Druid Knot
versus
made top.
Giganta.
Druid Knot was from 14. Druid Knot, can't believe it. Um, is it necessary played? What they
I
play?
think once
Fire's
famous
made
Druid
top
Grand
16. Oh my god! And then Jeskai Tendency to 16. Crazy.
once once Dark Pantsu left, famous Druid Grinder Dark Pantsu, people didn't really innovate the Druid deck very much anymore, and I think there's still like innovation to be done on it. I like the Dreadnought mashup. I think it's a pretty good idea. I
Yeah,
don't know that it's the best. I don't know that it's the best one, but it is definitely. I think it's a cool idea and it has some merit.
I really like what I brought today, except I lost to the red deck, which didn't bode well in my really early round. I guess they would have made top 8 if I won every round because all the X ones made it. Only one X2 made
Right.
it. Rydell, who was playing. What is in the top 8? Let's just look real quick.
Is there any
Rydell's
aggro slide in the top eight?
no,
I
none.
don't think
They
so.
all kind
I
of
think they
fizzled
all.
out. Yeah. So
Yeah.
the top 8 is we're watching this match. Obviously, Appa is playing mono red. Baker's playing blue black. Delver. CZN's playing Rakdos mid range. There's two Rakdos mid ranges. At least like three other red decks. Wait, hold on.
The top eight.
I'm Vinny, Harry Froglegs, and I think Borkbort are all playing mono red. Let me look real quick. Let me just. Yeah,
This game's really close.
it actually is really
Depends
close.
if
They've actually traded off all their stuff, and they still and Baker still hasn't really caught up.
right
So yeah,
now you probably have to trade for this figure of destiny is my guess.
so yeah, four mono red, two Rakdos mid range, one blue black Delver, and one lone Druid deck.
Wow, not taking the trade here, just taking four to the dome. That's interesting. I guess he feels that he doesn't have a reliable way to win if he trades off. The problem is that you're not dead like on board to like I mean not on board but like you know you're this barbarian ring plus burst lightning just kills you. I guess you're kind of dead on board because they have a firebolt in the graveyard. So if they play a land, they can firebolt you plus barbarian ring next turn, right?
Or
Yeah.
that.
So they just had the burst. They just had the burst lightning. Yeah, red deck wins, taking it down.
How many people register red deck? I can't count that right now. You're
Oh, it seems like a lot. It
or
seems like
Patty,
a
you're an
lot.
ad. You can go. You can just go look. Aren't you an admin? We'll count. I think it actually isn't super surprising that red deck kind of beat a lot of aggro slideless. I think it's a close
Yeah,
matchup.
I agree. I agree.
I'm actually surprised at the lack of like Metalworks decks. I thought that could be really good.
Yeah,
I, but I think it's like the same thing. It's like only two people played it. Not a ton of
yeah,
people play it. It's kind of hard to play, kind of.
yeah, yeah. I agree. I mean, no one plays Wave either. I think Wave is like pretty good. It's just bad against cycling, and I ran into cycling twice, so got wrecked a little bit. But that's how it goes sometimes. I'm the only one registered Wave. I'm pretty sure.
Oh yeah, you play against Druid too. It didn't seem very good.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's true. I mean, I think Druid's okay. Like it's like a 50-50 matchup. If you lose the die roll, you're not favored, and if you win the die roll, you're slightly favored, I think.
Bro, let's break it in. So the fun card that I saw on my stream was Unexpected Fangs, which makes the Frost on a lot better on the Appa
True.
side.
Yeah. So
Just probably
yeah,
a bunch
the
of like
com.
piles of removal. Ratchet Bomb's gonna be really good because majority of this red deck's all one drops. So I think Ratchet Bomb can be
Yeah,
really nice. Just if you want to
yeah.
try out removal for your like slow counter spells.
I'm surprised he's using. He's playing. I would play like whenever I play black decks, I like having like especially these kind of black decks. I would like to have Flaying Tendrils as my sweeper. Um, I wonder if Ratchet Bomb is actually better than Flaying Tendrils. Definitely could be. Um,
I think for blue black, you really want something that kills
I guess
enchantments. So
Flaying Tendrils does kill your own Delver necessarily, whereas Ratchet Bomb. I mean, Ratchet Bomb obviously on one kills your own Delver, but doesn't necessarily kill your own Delver. So
right.
that's some consideration, I suppose.
I think it's just the flexibility of like being able to kill like artifacts and enchantments is really good.
Yeah, yeah, for
So
sure.
you just have this. It's slow, sure, but I mean, and it doesn't flip Delver on like flank tendrils, but I think you're still fine with it.
Yeah, possibly.
I actually like Lava Mancer a lot in this matchup. It kind of shoots the small Delvers, and it makes better use of like your burn spells. So you could like chain
Yeah.
lightning an X5, and then just like Lava Mancer down. I'm glad it's actually
Lawmancer
seeing
just a
play.
yeah, just a good card. I mean, his I mean, it has a lot of history in Magic, right? Like it was like a red deck win staple since Torment. Like, once they printed fetch lands, like everyone realized this card was just nutter butters, but kind of fell out of favor for a little while. Obviously, that's why it's in Penny Dreadful now. It still shows up in Modern from time to time, though.
Yeah, maybe like what Zoo decks or something like that, or just burn
Yeah,
decks.
I've even seen it in Jund. Um, Probably Jund now has like access to Renin 6, which is like can't ping for two, obviously, but it's probably will kind of replace once Renin 6 got printed, I don't think you'll ever see from Lava Mancer anymore. But I've seen Reed Duke play it before.
Yes, all hail Reduke, the master of
Yeah.
magic.
I'm just looking through Appa's sideboard here. So they have two Lava's Mancers in the main and one on the side. So they really respect the powers of the Lava Man, which I can get behind. Yeah, and Legacy Sly. Yeah, sure. Why not?
I think Baker's definitely taking the control role here. They're pretty much want to kill everything. It's gonna be
Yeah.
tough if they have like Heartless Act here, because Heartless Act on a figure of death seems kind of annoying. Oh, it doesn't have counters. Never mind. I thought it's like
No,
level
it's the
up.
opposite.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's the
no,
opposite. It's
you're
like
thinking of
opposite
you're
level.
thinking of
I'm
you're thinking of
sorry.
the student, right?
I'm just out of it after everything today. I'm
Okay,
just totally out of it.
so
They're
Baker
trading.
deciding
Wow.
to take the trade. I mean, I don't hate it. It kind of
Yeah.
depends what's in your hand, obviously, but especially if you just have another one here, then that's definitely fine. Because you're also just time walking them, like making them spend their whole turn to make that into a 4/4. So I think this is a fine exchange.
Yeah, when they have one to replace it, so it's not too bad. But they also
All
have
right,
things to
well,
replace.
another figure incoming. Ratchet Bomb would be really nice at this point. Clean 2-for-1 there.
Sorry to answer someone's question.
All right, getting in. Okay, we do have the ratchet bomb.
Ooh, great
We do
draw.
take we do take a bit of a pasting here on the crackback, but I think this is fine. I think we gotta
Yeah,
just get the game over.
like six.
And you're still at 20, so
Yeah, they take 6 damage. It's not the end of the world.
yeah. Taking 6 damage on turn 6 and you're still at 20 is acceptable.
Ooh, big Prostodon. So now things like those unexpected fangs are pretty bad. But you love to see it because then you're taking less damage from the figure.
Right.
And oh, it gets hard.
And
It's just
just
acted anyway. Oh, so that's brutal. Put a counter on the bomb. Yay.
all right. We didn't forget. We didn't forget to activate the ratchet bomb. Perfect.
So I don't know about you, but like every time I play Ratchet Bomb, I've done the wrong mode every time. Almost every time. Like I'll try to add a
I
counter, I
haven't
sack it instead, and it's like it's really frustrating. So I just took it out of my
I haven't
decks.
I haven't played it that much, so I can't say I have done that, but I can definitely see that happening to me as well. All right. Thoughtscar into Trader Cruise, powerful stuff here. And we get to get in, and we get to clear the board of the opponent at instant speed. I mean, I kind of even like, I don't know. I guess you don't really want to take 4 damage if you don't have to, but you could also like, I mean, you could consider just taking it and then doing it on end step to just stop them from committing more 1-drops to the board. It's not the craziest thing ever, honestly. All right, so he decides he'd rather not take the 4 damage. I can get behind this too, of course. I don't think it's. I mean, I think my line is a little bit aggressive. You want to save life whenever you can in this matchup, but it's worth thinking about.
Yeah, it'd probably be because the other thing it also like restricts your play style because you can't play your own Delvers. So
Right,
then you
right.
have to kind of
Well,
like
I'm just saying this turn you could wait until the end step.
yeah, that's fair. You don't want to
It's
get
like
like,
now,
but you don't want to get like bombed with like burn spell after burn spell like this. See,
yeah,
imagine if
yeah,
you're at 12, then you'd be at 9, and then
right,
you're just
right.
like incinerate, incinerate, chain lightning. It's like,
Oh
well,
my
they have double
goodness.
chain. Yeah, so
Yeah, definitely would have got punished if we had waited because they didn't have a 1-drop anyway. They just had
yeah,
road spells.
the unexpected fangs end step.
Oh
I love
wow.
this
See
card.
now they got punished because they should have if they had double chain lightning the curator, they would have been able to like stop this, right?
Yeah, this is
Like
a big
they
swing, no matter what.
yeah. Because now that the chain lightning effectively got countered, like the double chain lightning effectively got countered. And
Wow, they had like all the
wow,
resources to kill it too.
they would have been able to kill it. Dang.
That's
Yeah, they
brutal.
got punished super hard for that.
It is so silly how like they kind of changed like auras into these like weird counters, or
Yeah.
sometimes auras into sometimes counters now. So I guess it also gets switched this season with Ikoria or whatever, but like death touch
He did
counters and
not he did not
lifelink
expect
counters.
that he did not
No one,
expect those fangs,
no one
says
ever
chat.
expects the unexpected.
There's a red dial spell that goes face. You need to magmatic sinkhole your own Boros Reckoner. That's what it is. With a miracle spell. Yeah, that'll work too. All right, both players taking a mulligan to start here. Um, being on the play, of course, benefiting the red deck here. Always does. We've got a nice high golem.
Yeah, the Snowlands have really like changed the landscape of mono red. They have like just random 1 mana 2/2s now, even more. So just
Right.
Eyesight Golem. It's just
They don't
there's no
have to.
downside. Literal no downside
They
to
don't.
it.
They don't have to play their crappy vampire anymore.
Yeah, Stormcrook Noble. I still like Stormcrook Noble. I don't know, but
No, I like. I was talking about the other one, the Falconwrath Gorger. That
oh,
sometimes play.
Gorger. I like
Yeah.
Gorger.
I think Stormcrook. I think they should still be playing Stormcrook. That card's nuts, but they don't for some reason.
Yeah, every red deck actually. Let me look. Let me look at all the red decks. I think they all are like completely different. Like, there's no
So
like
Tom.
consensus.
Oh, I agree. So Tom didn't flip the Delver And didn't hit a land here? Okay, he had a land. It's just an island. Second Delver. This could be rough. This could be rough. Can block a Silver Knight once. True, can do that. Okay,
Yeah,
we're gonna trade off for the Kenra here.
yeah, it's not like a ton of similarities between all the red decks. They're all like slightly different. It's really weird. But that's the power of like mono red. You can just put a bunch of like creatures on curve and a bunch of inefficient burn spells, and you have a deck. This is getting a little bad for Baker. You need to make a big creature. A Tasker would be great, I think, on this board. Ooh, it's happening.
All right. Found the black source. Found the Tassiger. Take one off the Ferocidon.
Are you?
Red deck down to just 2 cards in hand, though.
Yeah. Are you double blocking the Ferocidon here?
I don't know. I don't know about that. I kind of like taking 3. And well, the problem is, I guess the problem with blocking a 3. Well, I don't really know actually. Okay, well now the decision was made for us here, so we can't. It's kind of interesting. If you have a burst lightning, you could consider trading off Ferocidon plus burst lightning for Tassiger, right? Maybe you don't want to make that trade though. All right, got a lot of stuff on the table here. We have another Ratchet Bomb. That would be great.
Yeah, retro would be nice. It might be a little slow.
Yeah, for sure.
Even if like let's say they get it off now, and then maybe they eat a creature, they'll still go be at like they'll still be at like 3 life essentially. It's bad because like not even like unexpected fangs can help out because Ferocidon was a ban worthy card. This card was good enough to get banned for like a million years out of standard because it has just like a pile of text. We're seeing it why right now.
I really don't love Calabax's burn list personally. Red Gina in the chat is saying that they like the. I agree with you though that they are very good against Hermit, but I think they're so all in that if like maybe they're better against the actual good decks and maybe that's a good thing. I don't know. Like I just think they scoop much harder to actual interaction because they're so all in kind of. So if we have a removal spell for the Ferocidon, I would say we're in a good shape. If we don't, we're not. It looks like we have it, so I think we're actually in an okay spot here.
Oh man, reports for the floor. The Red Deck Mirror. I'm Vinny. Makes it a top 4. Harry Froglegs beats Black Red Midrange. Also into the top 4. So 2 mono red, maybe a third here coming up. Why
We're
did
gonna
they
team up the Arc Trail and the Lava Man activation to
Oh yeah.
take
Good.
out Tassiger.
This is great actually for Baker. Cause like this is not bad at all. Cause now you're only dealing with just the Lavamancer and this little 2/2. Can they not do it?
Wow.
Are they not doing it? You can still have
I guess they
time.
did.
You still have time
Yeah,
to do it.
I guess they're thinking if they want a Lava Man upstairs to give themselves more outs. Yeah, it looks like that's what they're
Oh
doing. This is
wow.
terrible against unexpected fangs, though.
Yeah. They got blown up by it last time, so if he attacks, he
Yeah,
definitely has it. Oh, he has
yeah,
it. It's over.
yeah.
Do it. No, they
Oh
never
no,
expected
they
it.
did.
So this is game unless he Baker's another removal spell. Oh, it's a curator. Okay. Curator can block the cackler. But now this is a top deck away from mono red to take this game. That's an interesting choice. I don't know if I would have made the same choice. I would have just killed the Tasigur. I feel like you're like way ahead. Guide Beast. That's game. That's actually game there. Go go
Yeah.
go Goblin Guide. I really had my doubts about that card, but I mean it's coming through here. That's it. Oh. The mod squad goes
All right.
down. The last of the mods.
He didn't have the second black source to cast the Bile Blight in his hand.
Oh, it's rough. It's brutal.
You know, Tom loves skimping on tap lands, so I think he might.
So you're
I
saying he
don't
got
know how many tap
punished?
lands.
He got
I'm
punished.
saying he got punished. Yeah.
Ooh, the last match is already over. Already. That was already the top 8. That was pretty quick.
Yeah, he's
Um,
playing only his only dual lands are 4 Drowned Catacombs, 5 Swamp, 10 Island. I would
okay.
definitely play the blue black snow land
It's an
in this
ambitious.
deck. Yeah, I agree. I mean, he did make top 8, but I don't know. Like the opportunity cost of having like a draw with 1 tap land is not that high. Like the times you really get punished for tap lands is if you draw multiple of them. I think,
Yeah,
especially if your curve is low.
and even some of them like the temples or like even like the snow duels actually like help you in certain ways.
Yeah, right. But
All right, so Rakdos mid range from ZZN still hasn't lost the match yet. The last undefeated, the lone wolf against the Sea of Red. This is crazy. I can't believe
you had just yeah. I think we saw the thought scour because you drew a card post game. I see that makes sense.
really just waiting on this last person. I'm trying to get them to report. Rather not DQ someone for not reporting, but it's an AFK check, so gotta gotta keep pestering them.
After the drawn catacomb to the bottom. Yeah.
Baker,
Well,
all right, PM them on MTGO.
in
Baker miswrote their result. We'll fix that. Whatever. They kind of forgot he won game 2.
like confirm versus the ratchet bomb. True. True. Cost double black.
So you want to watch? You want to watch the Rakdos deck? The Rakdos against a random red deck or the red deck mirror?
Or I guess we'll do the Rakdos versus red, but I mean, I
Yeah,
don't.
that's probably better.
Seems more interesting.
I'm
What
gonna
do
make
we have top 4?
a bold prediction. The red deck's gonna make the finals here.
All right, so it's Harry Froglegs versus ZN. It's the should I make a prediction for the chat? I already have it at Rakdos mid versus red deck wins as my prediction. All right, we'll make a chat prediction.
What's interesting about this other red deck first? Actually, we'll talk about so ZDN's pretty much been the Rakdos person. You know, they've played Rakdos, they've kept it up, and here they are. It actually makes what's the word? It paid off. Their hard work has paid off because they're here. They haven't lost a match yet. Grinded their way through all the competition with their bye, and here they are in the top 4. Um, they've already beaten in the top 8. They beat the last Hermager deck, and but in the way is Harry Froglegs playing mono red. This mono red is more of a larger version. I'll say they're playing a lot less one drops, only Figure Destiny and Stromkirk Noble, and a couple of Burst Lightning Chain Links. We're also playing a couple of 3 drops, both Froston and Chain Whirler, and Experimental Frenzy as well. So it's kind of the more robust red deck with Frenzy.
Yeah, this is the one. So it's kind of funny. There's actually a funny story behind this red deck. So I played a red deck wins deck in League, and I 4-1 with it a couple times, but I kept missing the 5-0. And it had Experimental Frenzies, and it had most of these cards. And then someone else copied it. I think a player named Tombstay copied it and 5-0'd with it. And then they copied Tombstay's list. I know because they said it in their deck name, like to copy, Tombstay red deck win. And they changed a few cards. So this is actually a bastardization of a red deck wins deck I originally built. I just want to take full credit.
You were the first
No,
one
I
to play
didn't have
Frenzy.
Ferocidons. Yeah, I didn't have Ferocidons in my list. That's the main difference, I think. If I remember correctly. But like playing the figures, the Kenras, I didn't have Ash Zealots either. Those are the main differences. I had more 1-drops. I had full 4 nobles and 4 figures. And I think I had CRAZYBALOTH in a couple CRAZYBs and not the 4 Ash Zealots.
Baker wants me to add to the
I
call.
also
You want to add Baker? I'm sorry. I don't mean to interrupt.
Yeah, I'm down to add Baker.
How do I add someone to a call? Let's see.
I actually have no idea.
I'm gonna try it. You keep talking. I'll just do it. It'll happen.
All right. Give it a shot. Actually, there's let's see.
I have an idea.
Yeah, you figure it out, Adam.
Oh, here we go. I got it.
What's going on?
Yo.
Hey, congrats on your top 8.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yo.
Hey.
Your mic is...
Absolutely.
What are you doing with your mic? Oh my gosh.
Yo.
Baker, is your mic okay? Oh, he muted himself. He's figuring it out.
Okay. So it's kind of interesting because, like, Frenzy kind of clashes a little bit with. Yeah, actually, we noticed this in the last round as well. This player plays very defensively, often maybe to their detriment, but they are undefeated. So I think you really have to attack, though, because you're not beating this Frenzy in a long game.
I think they're worried about the Gitu encampment.
Yeah,
Attack,
possibly.
actually.
Although you can just activate. I mean, at this point, maybe they were tapped out earlier.
Yeah, they tapped out for the... Or, I don't know. I actually don't remember. I think their plan was to just... Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say earlier, before my train of thought got disrupted, is that their curve is a little higher, whereas I feel like with Frenzy, you actually kind of want a lot of 1-drops in a lower curve. So I don't know that I like playing Frenzy in conjunction with like 7 3-drops. It feels like it could get a little bit clunky. Now, of course, the 3-drops are really powerful, and Frenzy is really powerful. So I can see wanting to have them all in your deck. I just feel like if you want to play all these 3-drops, maybe you don't want to play Frenzy. I don't know for sure though.
I've basically never seen Grim Lavamancer in this format, and I've seen it on the board like turn 1 play a million times this tournament.
Yeah. They might even have more than 7 3-drops, honestly.
I mean, if you play Delvers, you're going to see Grim Lavamancers, I guess, at some point.
All right, now they've got, so I think they have 7 3-drops in their deck. Yeah, so they have 3 Chain Rollers and 4 Ferocidons.
So Frenzy is trying to produce enough chant blockers to.
Well, I mean, the Frenzy is
9 points of burn.
I think the Frenzy is going to get there. Honestly, I think it's.
One removal spell from putting them to 1 here, so.
That's true.
Maybe.
I think the Scorpion God just goes all the way. I think if they just kill this now, tackle the Scorpion God, there's almost nothing they can do. The Frenzy would have to go like, so off.
God does turn off 1 toughness blockers, which is quite.
Yeah. So here's the thirst. You attack and you just hope. You just like pray. It's Prage time. You just put your hands together and they're crazy. I would try to end this game.
Jeez,
you just put them at 1. Oh my! See, look, now you get triple chain lightning and you're dead.
Well, maybe you do. Maybe.
There's also they also have if they have a bunch of 1-mana burn spells in their hand, there's a possibility they could crack this frenzy and kill them, but because they have 8 cards in hand.
Yeah, that's a really good point. It's 4 mana to kill the
The
frenzy.
incinerate.
Yeah.
I
Oof,
bet he
looks
wishes
like we
his
did.
opponent was at 1 right now. Oh no, he'd be dead. No, he wouldn't be dead. He'd 1 mana short of.
So maybe like, so you
attacking
came in
for 4 here.
This is crazy because he came in Chain Lightning now. Because if you Chain Lightning, now they have the red deck has 2 mana up, and they can just copy it back, which would actually draw the game.
Use the Scarab God's ability and kill this thing. Play another land so that you can Scarab God the Gitu encampment, attack for 6 and pray. But that all requires you to have another land. Untapped. Price of Progress is pretty good here. Although if he attacks, Price of Progress is no longer.
Oh, they don't play it main
it's
deck.
just a draw.
Some people are playing it main deck actually. Some players
there's no main deck price.
I think you can.
In this. Yeah, I think you can also.
Him you.
Sick him. Sick him when you can't play your cards in your hand. Oh, that's excellent him.
Why?
Just attack, please. Just attack. I want to see it.
I guess if he does have a Chain Lightning in hand or something, then this stops him potentially. 7 chance of stopping him. Okay.
Like why?
Why didn't you kick it?
Oh,
miss lethal, but had it anyway.
Why wait to lose? Like this is
because you obviously knew the card underneath your burst lightning wasn't incinerate.
Right.
Obviously.
Why wait to lose though? This is a great example of like, yeah, this is game 1. This is a great example of like playing not to lose versus playing to win. There's like no way. There's no way you can like figure out what's on top of your opponent's deck. So you should try to play for the win here.
No, I know. But also why didn't they kick the burst lightning? It's the real question.
I don't know. That too. I don't know. Maybe they had like a card in their hand that destroyed the frenzy and still killed them, so it didn't matter.
Maybe.
Well,
I wish they attacked.
The frenzy was going all the way was correct, CB. I was not totally convinced when you said it.
I wish they just attacked once and opened their
Frenzy is great. More people should be playing it. I was telling Jay before that this is a red deck based off a red deck I built because I want to take some credit for. But yeah,
it's definitely a strong card. I mean, you need to play enough lands that you're going to get to 4 lands and all that jazz. But
correct, yeah.
If you've got like in the matchup in your deck and you're flashing back Earthshaker Kenra and you're going up the curve with Chain Whirlers, then yeah, why not stick it in there?
Yeah,
I don't even think the Rakdos deck's even got a sideboard. They could bring in like one Elspeth Nightmare, maybe.
Well, their deck is like they don't removal and 2-for-1s, right?
Yeah, so they don't even need the sideboard.
Red deck? And like threats to close the game.
Yeah, so, like, and red deck is just gonna bring in like prices, basically.
The only thing they might have in the sideboard is something really techie, like Unexpected Fangs. Oh yeah,
no, they don't. Their sideboard's like basically against like combo control decks, like Spell Bomb, Stresses, Feed the Swarm, Slaughter Game, Smelt by Force, and Elspeth's Nightmare. So probably just play the second Nightmare. Then just kind of like one for one.
Were you watching the game where my opponent pointed 2 or 3 burn spells at my face and left 1 mana up and passed the turn, and I put an Unexpected Fangs on my 4/4?
Yeah, that was actually amazing.
Yeah, we were discussing how much they punted, but
yeah, it's good times. I think my deck is favored against Red deck. I mean, it's obviously really tight. Like I'm playing Delvers that die to a Stiff Breeze and they have price in it maybe, and I don't know. There's lots of different aspects to it, but I think I have a good matchup. I beat it.
We were discussing earlier. We haven't seen any. The aggro slides all kind of fizzled out in the Swiss.
Well, I beat aggro slide in the first 2 rounds inexplicably after facing 5 turn 2 lightning rifts in those 2 rounds. So I really don't know how that happened. And then I played Rakdos twice and went 1-1, which I also think is a bad matchup. And I played Red Deck Wins twice and went 1-1, and the second one was
that's the key to top 8ing is to just win your bad matchups and win your good matchups. Right?
It's a bit strange.
Yeah, I beat one aggro slide. That was fun.
I think actually one of those games I lost against Red Deck Wins, I did maybe both. I did the wrong thing, but anyway, Magic is hard.
This is looking great
Right.
for the Rakdos deck.
I do like
This-
playing a Tectonic Giant 1 on 17 against a 1/1.
Yeah, I like that
Yes.
too.
Yeah.
Seems like a good spot to be in. I go.
I'm actually
damage.
surprised. I'm actually surprised they're attacking. They never attack.
Yeah,
They have to
will
use
take
the card.
one.
It has to
But
attack.
only
They're
a
like
creature
forced.
removal spell on this Tectonic Giant. They will take 1 from the last.
They're like forced to attack. That's how they have to use it. It's like, I guess I'll attack. You
Yeah.
know.
Yeah, it's like Ulamog's Crusher in Rise of the Eldrazi draft. In the playtesting, they found people weren't attacking with it, so they put must attack on it. So people would understand that Annihilator is really good if you attack and not so good if you're on D.
By the way, I'm really sad to report that this black red deck does not play the fuse card. I'm really sad about it.
Does not play what?
The Handwer Battlements, the fuse with Henry
Oh,
Garrison.
fuse-
I
the
don't
fuse-
think you've got room for that in a him deck. I wouldn't play it. I know it's cute and you get a 7/4 tramper every once in a while, but this card wins uncontested anyway. This is a whole lot of resources we're expending here to still have a Tectonic Giant attacking us next turn.
I would actually
It's
kill the
true.
giant
I guess
first.
the
I
thing
would have.
about this is that there is 6 damage of Price of Progress on the table, and they probably have 4 after board. So you're never kind of out of it, are you? I mean, the hand might be 2 Price of Progresses. There might be 5 damage from victory here for all we know.
Well, also, I think when you have Experimental Frenzy in your deck, you can also expend a lot of resources killing things, and then just
Right,
drop
yeah,
a
that's
fun
true. If
here.
Experimental Frenzy is currently in their hand, then they could actually
Yeah.
desire to lose all these cards. It's
Yeah.
almost
Yeah.
free.
The Tech
Yeah.
Giant whiffs. It's just two. It's 2 lands, so they took a swamp. It's a little unfortunate, but I mean, it keeps on churning.
All
They've
right,
got,
no
they've got
plays.
a clean kill on the Tectonic Giant here with activate encampment, use Lavamancer.
Yeah,
That's true. Yeah.
we'll see if they'll
So
see it.
I guess see what they reveal.
But also,
now, if
also
you attack
no
with
land
Tectonic
drop.
Giant and you find a removal spell, you obviously don't
Right.
reveal it. You reveal land if you've got another removal spell in hand.
You're kind of forced to reveal it, though, right?
Yeah,
Like if you
I'm saying if you drew one and then you also found one with, but I'm just being silly.
I like Butcher here. Butcher's really nice.
Yeah, but it's real
Um,
good because when it dies, it's going to kill the Grim Lavamancer. Worst case.
Exactly. This
You
is
attacking with both if you don't
aggressive.
have a removal spell here. I don't think
let's see what they flip.
I like this. I like trading the giant off for the basically the gamut or the lava man. We found another giant, so this is great.
Okay, well now it looks smart to have attacked, but I'm not in love with that attack if they don't have something in hand to like get rid of the encampment after it activates, but before it blocks.
Well, we skipped through our blocker step before activating encampment, so that's not happening.
Oh, that's
Hmm.
interesting. Oh,
Maybe they just clicked through it by accident.
Yeah, I think
Decided
they
to
just
shame-
went. I think they went too
shame scoop
fast.
here.
They might not even have like a stop or something. I have like stops all over the place.
I have no shame, so I'm incapable of making the shame concede.
I agree. You turn on. You actually want to turn on. Your opponent can continue make mistakes. You know, you never know what happens in a game of Magic.
For sure.
Well, I definitely like red-black in this, even on the
Yeah.
draw. I think.
Like your opponent can just like have lethal on board and disconnect, and then you never know. You could just win the match.
You could have 30 power of tramplers against your 2/2/2s.
Yeah, and then your opponent just
Never know.
concedes.
On the clock, and it's
could just-
their
Yeah.
turn pre-combat main,
God, I'm
and
so
they could
upset.
just hand you the. That was
So
awful
upset.
to watch. It was painful.
Imagine if I top 8 it again. Oh my god, so upset.
I was like, yeah, that would have been good.
Would have been great. Didn't happen.
Yeah.
I registered Blue Red Storm, and I only changed it with 10 minutes to go to a deck I actually like, and thought, fuck it, I'll just not play Cycling and Hermit Druid and Metalworks. And then I played Cycling twice.
I mean, you definitely made the right choice of your deck, though. I think you played pretty well, and I think it was a good call.
Well, I'm only going to jam Blue Red Storm from now until
Uh-huh.
rotation because I'm sure that it's good, but I can't make it
Where
be
were
good
the?
in my hand.
There were Druid decks. They just didn't perform. Some of them made tops. I think one made top 8, and
What
one
is the
made
top 8? What are
16.
the archetypes of the top 8? Have you been over this already?
Yeah, 4 mono
so
red,
we had
4 mono red,
Four-
2
four
black red
to
mid.
win.
Yeah, 2
Wow.
black red mid range. You, the blue black delver, and then 1 druid deck, just a normal druid deck.
yeah.
Do
Druid.
we know any results?
Well, yeah, I mean, there's
Well,
3 red in the top 4, and then this match.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Yep. Yep.
Oh, dear. Funny.
It's actual
All
Penny
our
Dreadful.
talk about how impossible it is to brew and how this and how that and everything else. And PD500 is here to laugh in our face. Just like two of them making the top 8. Two Agroslide making the top 8 in the Agroslide isn't good season.
What a brutal exchange. I don't think I've even done that. I would have just like, taken the 3 and just passed. Like they used.
I guess they wanted to clear the way for this Dreadhorde Butcher, but yeah, they
Chain
used
Water
to...
would be tapped, right? So.
But then you just like trade the
I
Butcher.
guess,
You could just trade a Butcher and then burst
I guess
lightning
it dies to your own Pyroclasm. Maybe they're not going to make a land drop. This is all they have for right now. I don't know. I don't even know if you play Dreadhorde Butcher on an empty board against red deck wins with 4 cards in hand and 3 mana open, do you? Like, don't you want it to trade for one of their creatures at some point? I guess you want to get counters on it so much.
Yeah, I mean, the upside's super high. They tap their encampment to chain lightning. Yeah. Oh, they have a 4-drop. Oh, Frenzy. Okay.
We're frenzying.
Oh, it all makes sense.
I think this game's over now.
No. You know what? What
really
if...
bad.
This is interesting. What if they had Feed the Swarm? They could have brought in Feed the Swarm.
That's true. Not the greatest one against... Ooh, wow.
Eternalize Earthshaker.
I mean, the only thing is that the red black could have cheap interactive spells in hand. Like everything we've seen so far hints that they probably do.
Yeah, like Terminate's really good here. Terminate's pretty big.
5 40 brings, whatever.
I mean, you're terminating a card
you use for though. You do not want to.
Yeah,
take
that you've
for.
already.
Okay, so now Tectonic Giant's bad. Oh no. We're expending resources we don't really have, and
looks like a red deck mirror.
It looks like 4 red deck wins in the top 4. I apologize. My deck.
No, this is already top 4.
Oh, sorry.
It was.
Yeah, there's 3 red decks in the top 4. There's a mirror match going on the other side.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we can actually just make this an 8/8 if we want to.
This can be fully leveled up. Yeah.
Oh my goodness! Oh my goodness! Kill the.
Can kill the figure. That's terrible.
That's called.
Doesn't matter,
you know,
but...
Yeah, I think
it's called making a statement.
I guess we could go land ritualist it. I don't know if that's in my deck,
with 5 days, 4 days left to go in the season, we can say, "Oh, experimental frenzy is quite good."
There we go.
I think this Harry Froglegs red deck wins deck is favored in the mirror also. Let's hop into the other mirror match.
Yeah,
because they have chain rollers
against little doodles. Although there aren't that many X ones like Kenra.
There aren't, but it's still
Pyromancer.
It's still quite good in the mirror because it just blocks really well.
That's true. That's true, and only some of your spells kill it, and those ones give your opponent the opportunity to spend double red to copy it. And
correct.
It's a real. Yeah, it doesn't have to kill anything to be good. Good point.
Yeah. And if it does kill something, then it's just incredible, right?
Oh my God, we have the beast mirror.
All right.
One land What the fuck?
So I think out of all
Chainwhirler makes short work of this situation.
So out of all like the red decks that have been played, this top 8, these 2 are the most similar because they're both playing like the Taxing Probe instead of lands, and they're both not paying payoffs for the Taxing Probe. The difference is that I'm Vinny down at the bottom is playing with Flame of Keld, and like they're just playing with Flame of Keld.
I mean, I think in general, why the Harry Froglegs red deck win is favored isn't necessarily just because of Chain Whirler. It's like the thing like in mid-range mirrors when if you go slightly bigger, you're favored. It's more like that, right?
I also think like this plan of Wayward Guide Beasting every turn, like you would do that against decks with no life gain where you're going to burn them out, but like this is the red deck wins mirror, right? You're going to point your burn at their creatures, and like 2 damage in there doesn't matter. It's whoever's got the last man standing. So I'm not not in love with all of this.
It's kind of also interesting.
End of turn to a 2.
I think they were tapped out.
They played both creatures.
Tapped out. Yeah.
Sorry.
It's also really interesting what you just said about the it's kind of like a last man standing thing. I think in red deck wins mirror, you kind of like red deck wins is always great on the play, right? But I think it's actually in the mirror, it's actually really not that relevant who's on the play or on the draw. Obviously, if you're on the play, you have an advantage, but having an extra card on the draw can be
each deck
really
has
good.
as many burn spells as the other deck has creatures.
Yeah, exactly.
Presumably, everything is going to die at a roughly even cadence, and if you're lucky,
Correct.
you're going to be doing 2 or 3 a turn because you've got your one creature ahead of their burn spells, but your burn spells have matched up against their creatures, like they've drawn one more land or whatever.
So we brought in Searing Blaze for just Eyesight Gold.
No, honestly, not just that. No, because they're both playing Dragon's Claws in their sideboards.
Wow. Okay.
Oh,
So their decks are
technology.
like super similar.
Gain 1, take 3.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it is. I mean, I guess having an answer to Dragon's Claw
Oh, that
is
is
pretty-
That is-
brutal to use a nice.
Well, you just
thing
chain
with
in,
Chain
you chain
Lightning
them
or
back.
2/2.
I
Oh,
th-
I
I think-
didn't think you can copy. You can't copy here.
Yeah, you can
Oh,
keep
maybe you
copying.
can actually. You
just keep
can,
copying. And then they can copy back. I mean, it
Yeah,
is a Searing Blaze.
Both players 3 is fine if you're ahead on life, I guess. And that's all it is to
Yeah.
copy.
and it does kind of
It takes their mana if they wanted to also
do
make
something else.
creatures
Yeah.
or something. Yeah. Here we go. Here's our current last man standing. He's going to die next turn because this guy still has 3 cards in hand. What you don't want is to get like arc trailed or chain whirled or we're gonna.
Oh,
arc
there it
trail.
is.
What I meant was in the mirror you don't want to get arc trail where 2 of your creatures die, right? Because then they effectively drew 2 burn spells. But yeah, it's also fine to do 1 to face and kill their only creature, I guess.
Right, who could top deck better at this point?
So everybody's missed the land drop round. No, Appa19 hasn't missed the land drop. So presumably, I'm Vinny has 2 burn spells in hand because they would have played a creature, or unless they have like
Sudden shock.
there's one of them. So then they could have experimental frenzy, of course, and
I don't think they have frenzy. They have
there's no frenzy in the list. Okay, so they're
yeah.
definitely holding a burn spell, unless they're just holding their last land for bluff equity, I guess.
It could also have been Flame of Keld, which makes you discard
Actually,
your hand.
I don't think you would hold your land because of figure and because of firebolt. Wouldn't you just play it?
Yeah, you would play a land. I think it could have been Flame of Keld, which makes you discard your hand, but they would have played it this turn.
That would make sense. That would make sense. Zergo defeating Chain Lightning by being dashed here, but it looks like it's going to die to this one remaining burn spell that I've theorized. Or not. Tap, untap.
No, they were thinking about it. Maybe they forgot that Chain Lightning's a sorcery, or Firebolt, or whatever the last card is.
Look, this is our top 4 competitor. They did not forget that Chain Lightning.
Well, you'd be surprised.
Probably did. As either of these decks got main deck price progress, because that's not good.
Yeah, they both
Yes.
do. But they're both probably sideboarded them out. Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, we don't know what the record is. Oh, I didn't choose an outcome.
This guy's going to go all the way.
He might.
8 hits. 8 hits with a Chain Lightning in hand for I'm Vinny.
What did you just chain lightning anyway if you had like 5 mana and you had enough? Oh,
Face is the
face.
place. We've got a
Face.
firebolt in the yard. We've got a firebolt in the yard.
Oh, face
We've
is
got
the
a firebolt
place.
in the yard. We're nearly there. We're 2 away. Barbarian Ring to you, untap to you.
Well, not all these decks play Barbarian Ring.
Okay.
Actually, Appa is the one with Barbarian
It's a
Ring.
lethal threat.
Yeah, stuff's a Zergo, so that's pretty good.
Yeah, Zergo can't block it.
Well, can't attack through it. Oh, chain. Chain for my
You
Zergo.
want mountain showing if he's holding a mountain for bluff equity. It was a terrible error.
I do wonder what that last card is. Maybe it's like a deal 1 damage thing. I don't know. I don't think they have anything. I was
Like
gonna
a
say
Spike Field Hazard or something.
Yeah, I don't think it's in their list.
I was 97% convinced it was a burn spell earlier, but I've lost track of whether we've now had evidence that that's not the case.
I don't know what it could be, honestly. Because if it was a spell, you would just run it out.
So a land puts them to 1.
You know, it could
It
be.
could be Price of Progress.
Or I think it could be like Flame
if
of
it's game
Keld.
1.
Maybe there's like.
Wouldn't you have played that before now? Hasn't he passed the turn empty-handed? Like the Lavamancer turn, didn't he pass the turn
Yeah,
with one
he
card
had-
in hand?
he had
and 3 mana open.
multiple chances to cast Flame of Keld. It could be a Gitaxian Probe that he doesn't want to pay life to cast.
Ooh, that's a good call. That's actually a really good call. Like, eventually you have to do it.
Given he's so ahead on life, I would kind of prefer to.
Yeah, at this
Yeah.
point, I mean, yeah, you were far enough ahead on life that you'd think you would cast a probe, I think.
I mean, the window's closing, so you might as well just do it now.
We have another lethal threat presented in the Red Deck Men's Mirror Styly. Cackler should have been a 1-1.
It's still like dashing Zergo. You just force the trade.
Well, no, they wouldn't trade, right? Would they take it and go to 5?
Okay, so the problem is that they can't really block. The Zergo can't block the figure, and the Cackler can't block because
Zergo an attack no matter what your other card in hand is, right?
Right. You don't play
no
if it's
card you could have in hand that would make you not want to do that, because if you don't have something that can block or kill figure, then you want to maximize the chance that they block. And if you do have something that can block or kill figure, you want to do 4 damage or get rid of the figure. So yeah, this is like a forced play. Like there's no card they can have in hand that would make this wrong. And then he just has to take this because 5 damage from 1 card is basically impossible. And then
Fireball. Yeah, baby.
Game on.
This is gonna be so close.
This is really close now. Because he has 6 next turn. I mean, he can't flashback fireball and dash unless he draws a land. Play it. Second main.
I think you have to. Oh, you can't probe. I think you have to probe.
You should have played Zergo there so you can flashback fireball.
You can't. The dash happens on the.
The dash is in your end step. It goes back to.
Yeah.
I think you have to probe here for like an incinerate, right?
If it's probe, yeah.
We're all assuming the last card has to be a probe.
Cards in hand?
It's not a land. It's definitely not a land.
It cannot be creatures.
It has to be a probe.
Maybe it's just double price of progress. Maybe we kept price of progress in our deck in game 2 or something.
I cannot fathom that.
Or we forgot again.
That would be tragic.
I mean, they can't
change. Chain lightning upstairs, right? You would have wanted, chain lightning.
Wouldn't have been a draw.
Any land is lethal for
What's happening?
One of these creatures doesn't die.
Well, maybe it was burst and they were waiting for the kicker. They were waiting for the land to kick it.
Yeah, because it's lethal.
Yeah.
Oh.
Please probe. Please probe.
Lands as Red Dog wins would be the problem. That doesn't sound
to be fair, this is kind of what I was saying earlier, is that I don't like having 18 lands in my Red Deck wins deck. I prefer having a good number of lands and then and then having mana sinks like Burst Lightning. So I mean they're only playing 18 lands, so it's them only having seen 4 so far is not.
Well, you'd think they're getting stuck on 4, stuck in quotes.
Please probe. Perfect, right? Please use your probe.
But this is the thing when you have Figure of Destiny.
Dragon's Claw.
Oh no, still dead to the flashback firebolt.
Yeah, it's lethal on board. They should have just casted the probe. You cast a probe, you hit like an incinerate, the game's over. They draw their next.
I don't think it's probe, but I don't know what it is.
They can't have Burst Lightning because they would have won if they had Burst Lightning.
Barbering, that's it. Wow.
Yeah.
That's it. Doesn't even need to flashback. But what's this?
Smash! Smash to the reeds. That was their last card. They're showing us what the last card was, so it's smash.
Yeah.
Brutal.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Makes sense. We should have thought of that really, as we'd already seen that.
Yeah. All right. Well,
all of our
there's the finals.
Red Deck finals.
The Red Deck.
The Red Deck wins.
The Red Deck summer.
I have been saying all season that it's approximately tier 1, just looking at the win rate. But there's definitely been less of it than usual.
The Rakdos player did lose. Kalyak asking in the chat. So we've got a Red Deck wins final.
Red Deck wins on Red Deck wins action. It's like season 3. It's like we haven't progressed in 5 years.
5 years.
Don't worry, Shrine of Burning Ray is currently 2 cents.
Is Shrine actually better than Frenzy?
I've got unexpected fans in my sideboard, so
I'm skeptical that Shrine is even better than a lot of the other tools they have nowadays. Like back then, they didn't have Kenra, they didn't have Frenzy, and these are cards that people
really? Shrine is insane.
I would
Shrine
still play Shrine.
It works against everybody.
Shrine is colorless damage that scales upwards.
Yeah, but
10 damage. It's price of progress, but
Well, I mean, I'm
It
just
works
thinking in the
against
context
everyone.
of
You have it in your main
modern.
deck.
Like in modern, people don't really like. I see Shrine in sideboard sometimes.
Well, in modern they don't do it because it's not mana efficient, right? Because it's 5
Right.
mana. But like,
Right.
don't our
But like,
games
it shows
slightly
up in
more-
like the prowess decks in modern sometimes in the sideboard. I mean, there's a lot. I know there's a lot of like
Well,
frenzy
we can
haters.
debate
in
that
the-
along with Forzergo next season. if it
I
gets
know there's a lot of frenzy haters in the chat who love playing like mono one drops in their deck, which is fine. I'm just saying like you can play a mana curve in your red deck. You're
I
allowed to
think
do
when
it.
sideboards are not very busy, I wonder if you could put like 4 mountains and some frenzies in there. Decide each match whether you want to be the 24 land red. I guess not, because you also need the 3s and the 4s and whatever. It's an option. Is that the final? Hairy Frog's Legs versus Appa 19. A fitting a fitting final. Hairy Frog Legs. Name is that.
Alright, Frog Legs already mulliganing.
Some people are so committed to good luck, have fun that they'll even jam it in the final.
I mean, yeah, why not?
Don't understand it myself.
Courtesy. Comic cards. So, lots to talk about. So, Harry Frog Legs is the one with External Frenzy. We talked about that. Just kind of like the late game sort
So
of
Hairy
thing.
Frog Legs is like a 20-something land, curves out to 4.
23
experimental
lands.
frenzy deck.
Yeah.
And
23.
Appa 19 is a Wayward Guide Beast 1-drops. So
Yeah.
although it proves absolutely nothing, we'll decide which of those two approaches is better right here, right now, forever.
Honestly, like, if you take out the fact that they're just playing, like, probes and left lands, there's, like, a lot more burn on Appa's side. They play, like, way...
end of turn with a burst lightning or something. Although I guess a lot of the burn is not instant speed.
Yeah. And their sideboard's, like, way more prepared for the red mirror. Like, when you just look at Dragon's Claw in general,
Oh,
it's
they
like...
mulled to 6. That's
Yeah.
why they had no turn 1 play, I guess. Not
So,
because they had...
I don't know.
Oh, dear.
This could really go either way. It depends on, like, obviously land drops and
Well,
everything.
the higher curve deck just missed its second land drop, so presumably there's now a 75-80% favorite.
Yeah.
Oh, there's the burst lightning we didn't see last time. I guess you have to draw something if you don't draw land.
Yeah, so basically it's like frenzy and less burn versus more burn and less lands. That's really just it.
Presumably, if the frenzy deck can assume a controlling role, where they kill all their creatures and then drop a frenzy, they would be heavily favored. Also, the fact that they have 3 drops if they don't miss lands would also if they drop a chain roller on this board, for example, it would just dominate the board until it gets removed.
All right.
So.
G2 Kame's pretty big. Without like an instant speed spell, it's just a sick blocker. But the figure's gonna get too big for it anyway, so it probably doesn't matter. Domed.
Whoa!
That's pretty aggressive.
Red deck wins mirror philosophy that I believe in, but I mean, if you're planning on making a figure a 4/4 next turn, kind of regardless.
Change your title to finals commentary.
Maybe you want to use
your little overlay.
Yeah. All right. I mean, we're trying to keep up despite missing land drops.
It's pretty awkward.
I'm surprised that we're seeing just nothing here. I wonder what's in the
2/1
hand.
first strike is a high risk move to block the Golem. But...
Ooh, I like this. I actually love this play.
Yeah.
I would have maybe.
You could wait till
Yeah. Wait to like time walk them. Maybe they took the 4/4.
Yeah.
Yeah, that might have been.
Right. Probe. See how I'm gonna lose. Or win, I guess. I don't know. So yeah, Appa is the one with the probes, and Harry Froglegs is the one with the frenzy.
Well, we have hit. Whoa, down to 5.
Wait, don't. Oh, do it.
2. That firebolt took a whole turn off the clock.
That's it.
Obviously correct. 18 life. Gosh, that was a beating.
I think that was their. I think that was
6 card 1 land hand didn't work out. I guess.
This was like definitely Harry Froglegs' game to win because like they really needed to win this game one because I think the side was gonna get way worse. They're not. I don't think they'll expect Dragon's Claw. I'm not really sure. I don't know if they played them yet. at all this tournament, but it's hard to expect Dragon's Claw.
I still think that Harry Froglegs can beat Dragonclaw pretty easily because they have a lot of creatures.
Yeah, you've got to get a couple of chain whirlers going uncontested.
Yeah.
It doesn't really matter if you
Yeah.
if the opponent gains a bit of life, but we'll see.
Well, I mean, like the turn 2 Claw, it's going to affect both their hands. So even if they like play a bunch of creatures, they could just kill every creature.
Yeah, I mean
and
that
still
kind
just
of finish that APA19 had there doesn't work if Harry Froglegs turn 2 is a Dragon's Claw, because all of those cards are doing 1 and 2 damage instead of 2 and 3 damage.
Yeah.
And
I mean, Appa's the
all
one with the
starts
Dragon's
Harry
Claw.
Froglegs.
Appa's the one that has the claws.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Harry
So Harry
Froglegs,
Froglegs is
like,
just
They've-
on out muscling you, burning
Yeah,
things to death.
they
make some
have
big
like
guys.
bigger stuff. Honestly, it's actually really funny. They can actually bring in like Mind Sparker as a little like random blocker. Probably isn't even necessary. Like the
Mind
fourth,
Sparker dies to all of the 1 mana burn
like
spells, though.
they have a fourth Chamberlain they can bring in, which seems pretty great. Red Cap Melee, another random card they could bring in.
Red Cap Melee is great. I was trying to decide which was better, red sideboard card, Red Cap Melee or the 3/2 with protection from red the other day, and I decided
Yeah.
the 3/2 with protection from red was better, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, but I mean,
I
Appa's
mean,
side,
I do
they
like,
could Appa's side could just like play Dragon's Claw and then play even more burn. Like they could switch out Price of Progress for Sudden Shock. They could bring in the third Lavamancer. And they even have more Chain Whirlers, their own Chain Whirlers to bring in. So
Harry Froglegs on the
it's gonna be crazy.
Appa Mulligan this time. Harry Froglegs kept to 7 with no turn 1 play unless this thing gets killed.
So
I mean,
even
you
if
take the
it's
2 Burst Lightning.
Yeah. Do you even kill this? Like, if you had a Burst Lightning? I don't even think you do, right?
No, maybe not. It feels like Appa's the aggro. I mean, maybe that's the truth, given the different.
I do think
construction
so.
of the deck.
Yeah, I do think Appa's the beatdown, and Harry Froglegs is the control in this. In
I
this
kind of
case.
figured it would just be like everyone burns everyone's creatures, but maybe it's just not that.
Ooh, there's the melee.
Oh, gee. Premium removal on the 2/2.
Since I like how they played this, though.
Anything
Presumably
in
they
this
had
matchup
the
will not.
presumably they had the red cap melee before, and they didn't cast it, which I like. I think that's correct because you time walk your opponent for shocking yourself.
I feel like they just drew it, honestly,
I
because they would just kill on their end step. Wouldn't they have?
Maybe, yeah.
Well, waiting to see if some better hasty threat comes out, like an Ash Zealot or something. Maybe.
Yeah, right. Now we've got the chain roller down. So like, see,
this
like,
thing has to die for there to be any chance for Appa to win.
Right.
So, yeah, presumably we point the first chain lightning we find at
So-
it, and then
so,
make
like,
another threat.
if you play Dragon's Claw there, it would have been terrible, right? Like it would have done like you take 3 damage from the chain roller. And...
Yeah. I mean, traditionally, Dragon's Claw is a mirror breaker, but
It needs to be on turn 2, I think. Otherwise, it just gets worse and worse.
Yeah. You want to gain like 15 life over the course of the game, whatever. As everyone burns each other's creatures to death. But
Sight isn't a red spell. This is true.
now, is there any thought to playing figure with enough mana to make it 4/4? No, probably not.
All right, we're down to 1 card.
We're
The
down
last
to
card's
one,
Strength.
yeah, 1 card in hand for Appa, so gotta be.
Oh, Harry
Harry
Froglegs is the one at the bottom.
So
I don't know how you're looking at this.
All right, I mean, Lavamancer is
I
pretty
just look
great.
at whose turn it is, and
Right.
I always think that's the person at the bottom because I'm not very bright.
The Lavamancer is pretty great though. If it lives.
Lavamancer takes
Right.
over if it doesn't die, but presumably it dies this turn.
Like 4 cards in
Right,
Appa's
4 cards in
hand.
hand.
Oh, there it is!
Okay.
The claw!
But I
Doesn't trigger off Lavamancer activation, so we're just 10 short activations from.
Do you guys like activating every turn, no matter what?
I think so, yeah, because it's gonna die. So I mean, unless you're trying to really turn on your barbarian ring, I guess it's kind of the same thing.
Yeah, probably face if they don't
Well,
give me any time.
Froglegs doesn't have any barbarian rings, so there's that.
Yeah, also true. I guess if you had a Kenra in your graveyard that you didn't want to exile, then you wouldn't.
And I would always leave the last 2, perhaps.
Yeah, probably. Yeah,
Once I get down near done, and I don't have anything else to put in there.
The fact that we get to untap again with this Lavamancer is pretty big, though.
Yeah, it's very strong. So they missed their 3rd land for a long time, I guess, Appa, despite the whole picking up lands and all that jazz. What are we incinerating? Surely
The creature.
Yeah, so we're
Why do we
targeting
let
what?
them untap?
I don't know. It seems suspect, but I mean, there's an argument for it, I guess.
Just
but,
waiting to see if there's a haster or something you'd rather
Yeah.
kill at the cost
Yeah,
of 2
I mean,
life.
you're paying 2 life to get more information. I mean,
You're
life is still pretty high.
also gaining some life, so like you really are
Right.
in position to play control here, except for experimental frenzy would probably ruin that plan.
Well, Frenzy would kind of help Appa in a weird way. Maybe they gain a bunch of life, but they would just like create this incredible board.
But
That's
a
probably
lot of the things coming off the frenzy are going to be creatures, so you're going to.
So here's one of the creatures we didn't dare play with an active Lavamancer out. Now going to start going to town, perhaps. Safe to kill because it's so far away from flashing it back.
Do we have a chain roller? That's why we didn't kill it. Yeah.
gross.
That's good. Chainwheel has the semi-magic toughness of 3, not the magic toughness of 4. I guess the magic toughness is 5 if the red cap melee's flying around. But...
Red Cap is a pretty rare card. I think. Again, this red deck wins deck was based on a list I made, which had 1 copy of Red Cap Melee in the sideboard, which appears to have perpetuated its way through.
The maturation process.
Yeah.
So presumably we
Well,
don't.
I threw a bunch of random 1-ofs in my sideboard. The card that didn't
Did you
survive.
play the 3/2 protection from red? Because as far as I'm concerned,
no, I played one Red Cap Melee. The card that I liked that didn't survive the cuts was I played 1 copy of Dire Fleet Daredevil.
Does that let you spend mana as if it's mana of any color to cast it? Is it one of those?
Yes. Yeah. You can exile
So
it instead of sorcery, so you can
late
steal their
game, you can just
steal their
randomly
treasure
cast
cruise
this
or whatever.
spell.
Yeah.
Coming in with Chainwheeler on the basis that this will probably be a 2/2 next turn, and we maybe have removal for it in hand. Makes sense.
Or another chain roller. Oh, Ferocidon. Okay.
Ooh, Frostodon's a great counter for the Chasm Saw,
Hard to
actually.
block.
Yeah, actually.
Another thing with 3 toughness that only dies to chain lightnings.
And it turns off Dragon's Claw.
Oh,
There you
blowout!
go. Yeah,
Oh,
the dream was to draw a
gosh.
mountain and have an uncontested 4/4, I guess, but it was never much of a dream, and now it's a nightmare. Looks like we're going to 1/1 here.
So this is why I thought the Hairy Froglegs would be favored, right? I mean,
it is notable that the player that missed their second land drop lost the first game, and the player that missed their third land drop, admittedly on turn 4 or 5 or whatever it was, when they finally stopped picking up their lands with Beast, also lost.
Well, also worth pointing out though that they are only playing like 18 lands or whatever.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Theoretically, this deck can function on 2, right? Nothing costs more than 2.
Right. Like this seems more like the kind of. I mean, when you put 18 lands in your deck, this is the kind of draw you sign up for, in my opinion.
Yeah, for sure.
Now they're just pouring it on. This is brutal. They're just pouring on. This poor Lavamancer.
All 3 creatures on Harry's side are better than. Well, I don't know. I mean, Lavamancer, I guess, will kill the.
There's no time though. There's just no time.
There's a Dragon's Claw in play. I mean, they're going to 6.
They can't gain life. The Ferocidon negates life gain.
Yeah, they do have to kill Ferocidon and Chainwheeler and yeah, okay.
It's like they can kill the Ash Zealot, but then they just die to the things they can't block because their Cackler's unleashed here.
I mean, they kind of have to unleash the Cackler or it dies to another chain roller, right?
That's true.
It's not much use as a 1/1.
Like your best bet's maybe like block Chain Whirler.
2/2 either with opponent on 15.
Right.
I guess I would use 2 spells to kill the Ferocidon here and attack for 2 if that's the option I have. I don't know. It's not glorious. I guess you can hold on that if it's instant.
You only need 1 spell to kill the Ferocidon because you have Lava Man activation to.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Sorry.
I see.
Oh, right. That's pretty good. No, it's not because this doesn't have the extra mana for. Dang.
Yeah, I mean it trades.
For 2. Right. Are we blocking with Lavamancer so that we can first strike down Ferocidon? Maybe. We're only on 5. I guess we kind of.
That leaves you dead on board, right? Because the other thing is 5 damage.
Yeah, I guess oh well, that's game.
It's game 3, right? We're on a game 3.
Yes, we're on a game 3. Yeah, in the battle of Ferocidon versus Dragon's Claw, I know which one I think is better. Which is a more powerful magic card.
I wonder if they're gonna board it out. What do you think? I guess there's like not
Um,
much they're gonna bring back in. I don't know if they board it out.
I
I
mean,
mean, it
presumably,
was orthodoxy in many standard formats that Dragon's Claw was great, right? I mean, were we wrong then, or is this a different environment, or is it actually still
I've
great?
seen it. I've seen it in modern too. I mean, in like decks where you cast a lot of spells, it's fine, but it's just like their creatures are just so good that it's. I mean, presumably, if you
Yeah,
put
it does
this
seem like we're
in there-
taxing the Chain Lightnings pretty hard here.
yeah,
It's like
yeah.
8 must kills.
But
Another
presumably, if you put this card in your sideboard, you're going to keep it in this matchup. I mean, why else is it in your sideboard?
that's true.
Oh, actually,
But-
Appa has Incinerates as well, so he does have as many ways to kill the X3s as there are X3s, probably, or roughly.
no, they have way less Incinerate, so they only play 2.
Do they? Okay.
They're really leaning on like Lava Mancers to get the job done, which is fair, I guess. Like all their damage really does like 2 damage, except for Incinerate, which is 3.
Hmm.
And First Lightning does 4 at some point. I think they
Is it
just
the
be really
guide-
selective
guide-
about their
not
Chain
the guide
Lightnings.
beast. No guide beast has been cited. Sad to tell you.
Like Harry Froglegs
Fire
can just kind of use whatever.
See, Harry can use a chain lightning on a spell. Zergo,
Yeah.
because there's less.
We did
XP.
see a chain roll out of Apis deck, but they have very few of them. I think there's like 2 in the 75 or something.
Yeah.
Mhm. No play on turn 2, implying the hand is what, heavy burn?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I would
so
imagine
like
it's getting
one of
killed. Yeah.
I mean, that's fine. You're fine with this, right?
Yeah, I think it's fine from both players' perspectives for that thing to die in that
Yeah.
way.
Agreed. So again, the Kenra is another thing that when
I
the
don't
game
think we're
is
slipping the Scrim Lavamancer past removal, but maybe we're trying to bait removal with it because we're going to play something better. Only 2 cards in graveyard, one of which we don't want to get rid of. But
It's all upside, really.
Right.
I mean, if it
Chain
lives,
Whaler here is
awesome.
very good, and we haven't really played any creatures yet, and we presumably kept this hand for a reason, so wouldn't be totally shocked. But I guess there's only 2 in the 75s, and it's also not that likely.
I do like the.
Oh, I don't like
Where are we
the-
where are we going with this Chain Lightning? Grim Lavamancer?
You gotta copy this ASAP, right? No?
I
Oh,
don't think so.
wow.
It's just that it keeps. I don't know.
Because if you copy it and they copy, and then it's just like, then your
Well,
next spell.
presumably
No,
they
then
do
no,
that,
then your
and
next
they
spell,
think to
like,
themselves, it's okay if that
Yeah.
happens. Wow, we hate our hand.
I was just saying
their
their
copy. His hand was garbage, and he was
their
just
their
like,
next their next spell would have been great because then they could like resolve something without getting incinerated, and then they have to use their next turn to use it. So tapping them out was like something relevant.
Yeah, I could see it.
Yeah.
I don't
Chamberlain
know
off
if
the
that's best
top.
plan for the red deck members to be playing the 20 land version.
All off the
Yeah,
top.
but
Oh my goodness.
So you completely disagree with the commentary team here.
Yeah.
Would you play that figure in a way that would dice Chainwhirler? I guess if we had Chainwhirler, we would have killed Grim Lavamancer with it, so we don't need to.
I think you can just play. I think when you. I think when
Oh,
you
it's
have
frenzy. It's frenzy. You're just playing whatever's on top. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's literally top decking.
Okay, so we've now used 2 cards.
Wow, no,
They
no
should be.
stop on the upkeep.
Should
They
be,
need,
yeah, they should be setting an upkeep stop here. I guess they knew it was a
Yeah.
land, but
there should be an upkeep stop.
I'm also a Spikefield Hazard gamer, especially in my Frenzy deck. Spikefield Hazard is great with Frenzy because it's either you play it as a land off the top or you play it as a spell off the top.
Yeah.
All right. Maybe we have a burn spell on top or not. Maybe just bricked and we have a land. It's possible.
Seems almost impossible.
Here it is. Here it
To
is.
do
Here
16
comes the
damage.
claw.
Seems almost impossible to have to do 16 damage before Experimental Frenzy causes
Just ends you.
wreckage.
Yeah. This is also a 4/4 if you want it to be.
If the top card of Frenzy is a land, it's a 4/4. If not, you've got more spells to play. Either way, golden.
Yeah. All right. So it looks like we bricked again, but it doesn't matter.
Well, maybe we have a Burst Lightning here as it goes to 4.
Oh. I
No,
see.
we did not
Interesting.
break. We just put it to 2 first for some reason.
Wow.
There is
This,
a Burst Lightning.
This
I
frenzy
guess-
deck, this frenzy deck has 23 lands in it.
Mm-mm.
I was playing 26 if you count Spikefield Hazards.
So presumably
version.
there's at least 1 in hand. So there's about 15 in the deck. So it's nearly 50% to hit a land. 15,
This is
14.
getting really close. I think it's. I don't know. It's up to the frenzy player that just have like really good top decks. They have plenty of lands to play whatever they can draw.
Presumably they'll hit 2 or 3 spells in a row at some point, and the game will just be over.
Oh, there's an Earthshaker in
Yeah.
the yard already, so this isn't too
Yeah,
bad.
so if the next turn they hit a land, they can do that. Yeah.
This is the
And
last game.
Now the claw is off.
Now, would you attack here? No, I don't think I would. I think you just got this if it goes.
Well, if it goes long, the game just over. Yeah,
I don't know.
I agree.
14, right? Maybe you get burnt out because you didn't.
Yeah, I think you even trade here. I don't think you care.
Yeah, I would trade for sure. I wouldn't take any damage I didn't have to take, basically, because I have.
Yeah,
infinite cards.
in the long run, the frenzy is just going to take over.
We'll even have game actions to take for the turns when we break on frenzy because
Yeah,
we have
Kenras and
2 Kenras and a Gitu encampment. So, I mean, you have to hit runner land for it to be bad, right?
Look at this claw just doing the work. By the way, it's already at 26.
Yeah,
they have a
26.
really.
I mean, this is why people play it, right? Both players are jamming a bunch of spells all game,
Yeah.
and you just gain and gain and gain in the background. And suddenly, you can burn them out, but they can't burn you out.
I like this chain. I like chain on the
Good timing for the
Lavamancer.
chain lightning.
Yeah.
We do not want to be casting that when opponent has
Ash
2 up.
Zealot. So I think Ash Zealot doesn't affect Earthshaker Kendra, right? Because Kendra's not a spell.
Correct.
I would have
Correct, yeah.
attacked.
Kenra's an ability, so you can
mean, you have a
make a Kenra.
Oh,
you
I
could
would have.
also-
At this point, Harry is the controller, right? He has to establish total control so that he can do 28 points of damage. There's no way he's going to like do anything resembling racing here. But
Correct.
he
I
has
agree.
frenzy, which is going to draw him
But,
200 cards.
I mean, the opponent's also. I mean, the opponent is playing 18 lands, but they're going to start drawing lands at some point. Also, they're going to brick at some point. You could. There's even if you have 7 cards in hand, you could even crack this if you're not using your mana.
Just still fading through the upkeep.
Oh, yeah, that's true. If you have good cards, then you can get a bunch of cards that way too. God, this card is busted.
Yeah, no, it's great. Yeah, it's insane.
Okay, we hit 2 lands, or we hit a land on top at the wrong time, or whatever the sequence is. Ash Zealot can't block.
Move to
Well, start to
discard.
make a dent in this 28 life with this 4/4. I mean, a 4/4 is hard to kill. Red cap melee or bust. Oh, it's not red.
Yeah.
Sack a
Well, they
permanent
could
as
kill. They could use Bread Cat Man to sack a permanent though.
Yeah.
But they don't. Appa doesn't play Red Cap melees. All their burn basically does 2 or 3. Or 1, I guess. Archer.
I mean, there's also a second 4/4 joining the party next turn, if nothing else.
Yeah, that's the very best case scenario for Appa is that Frog's untaps goes, oh, that doesn't work, and makes a 4/4 that makes something not block and has haste.
Yeah.
8 or 10. What are we killing? Face?
Sudden shock on the.
Okay, we're getting for 2s as well.
You-
It's the same.
You have to. Yeah, it's the same thing. You just get rid of an Ash Zealot for free.
I mean, presuming they don't have instant speed burn on top of their library, but
It came to life,
Yeah.
so it actually gave them a turn.
oh,
Technically.
yeah, it's a life as well. Yeah.
Finally
Love
found
it.
a burst lightning.
Love it.
Spectacular.
Love it.
Yeah. I mean, see, the Dragon's Claw meant that didn't go to face for 4, but
Love it.
I think this 10 power of
Look at-
creatures
look
is
at
going to
the-
knock
look
this
at
27 down pretty fast.
27 cards left versus 43 cards left. So
Oh
this is
my
round.
gosh.
That's drawn about approximately 16 cards.
That's crazy.
We did not eternalize, so we're holding up for a hasty attacker, perhaps, or just
I guess
playing
the thing is that they want
non-haste creatures off the top.
they just want infinite value out of it. So if they have a creature to block, you just like negate it and you just crash in for 10.
Yeah.
Yeah. They can
Or
actually
just
attack for 12 next turn if they want.
Uh,
They actually have enough mana to eternalize and activate the encampment.
It's gonna be so awkward when Appa draws their own Rampage Frostodons. It's gonna be really funny.
First lightning to the face, yeah.
Oh, off the top.
Only 3 damage, but acceptable.
Okay, another Earthshaker for good measure.
The more Earthshakers, the better. We do have one in the graveyard, yeah, we do.
Oh, here we go.
We're not going to use it yet. It's 10, it's half their life total. They don't need to cast another spell to win the game. Appa has 1 card, presumably not a kill spell.
Appa needs their own experimental frenzy.
Probably a bunch of probes or smash
Well,
smithereens or
it's
something.
settled for life, I think. That the 24 land red is better than 18 land red. That's the definitive scientific proof double blind test.
Yep.
Experimental frenzy is better than Dragon's Claw. What do you draw here to win for Appa?
Well,
There's
usually the
info,
answer
right?
is Price of Progress, but not in this matchup.
Yeah. There's actually nothing, right? Chain lightning, opponent copies it, you copy it.
Oh my god. Why didn't they just
Don't even
copy?
bother. I mean,
Yeah.
Well, I think
actually,
because they've got the game won, right? Haven't they?
Yeah.
yeah, I actually don't mind not copying there. I think
So
it's fine
you just-
because,
So they have a Zergo to gain a life, but he can't block any of these creatures.
So-
They can attack for 12,
well,
right?
it's
they have-
literally
I think they're
lethal.
on- Yeah, I think it's literally lethal because they have enough mana to both activate G2 encampment and bring back the Kenra.
Yeah,
So even
it's 4,
even if-
6, 10, 12, yeah.
even if
Zergo
frenzy,
can't
Or
block.
that, or just incinerate them.
No, well, now we've caused them to gain a life, so now...
It's still
Now
lethal.
we still have lethal. Okay.
Now they're just playing with their
Lose
food.
one.
I mean, I would do
Maybe
this.
they don't know about the Kenra. Maybe they've forgotten about it. But they have
Yeah.
Kenra in play.
They have one in
Kind of a big
play.
reminder.
They have one in
Kind of a big
play.
reminder that's in your deck.
Oh my god, they're
I don't
forgetting.
know. I think we might be giving them a turn. Not that it matters.
They completely forgot.
Well,
I mean-
I guess at this point it doesn't really matter, does it?
No, it does matter. Everything matters.
There's no draw that Appa can have here.
We have to stay here for another like 3 seconds.
The zero outer anyway.
It's a 4 mana, instant speed, 4 damage to everything sweeper.
Still.
No, they still had a
lose.
burst lighting. They still had the burst lighting.
No, they're going to 1.
No, they
No,
were at 3. They go to 4, then they die. All right, congrats.
Congrats, Harry.
Congrats to Harry.
Well played. Another PD 500 in the books.
This is the first one actually won by Red Deck wins.
Yes.
So any thoughts on this one? I guess we
I want better internet.
Oh, damn, Mecca. That was an absolute heartbreaker. Heartbreaker.
I don't know. You can see the video later, but I make all these decisions where it's like, if I make decisions faster, maybe something can
You have
happen. I don't know.
6 minutes to click once in your graveyard, once on one of your creatures, and then attack with 2 creatures, right? Like, I believe that 6 minutes is enough time to do that, no matter how ponderously you make your decisions. But anyway.
Yeah, but
Them's
I
the
mean,
breaks. I
Baker, you
looked at
made
the
top 8.
games.
That was great. This is like your first PD 500 top 8, right? How's
Yeah,
it feel?
or kickoff.
Yeah,
Never top 8 is anything better than a PD Sunday before now.
that's
PD
nice.
Sunday is the premiere of the weekly tournaments.
And Crazy
Right,
Bailout, they
but
just
it's-
didn't do anything, but it's okay. But you ran the top 8 commentary. Thank you.
What did
So
you
thanks for
play,
that.
CB?
I played the wave deck. I did top 8 the kickoff last season, not this season though.
All right. What? I don't remember that.
So mostly I never did anything. All right, I made
Okay,
a
you
top
did
8
something. You did stuff. Okay.
Well,
Well,
the
I mean-
first tournament of the season was won by 4-color Jeskai Ascendancy, and the last tournament of the season was run by Red Deck Wins. I would have said that those two things should have happened in the opposite order, but
I mean, Ear Terms was like on a win in for top 8, and they lost to a red deck. So
with Ascendancy.
yeah,
No.
with Ascendancy. So
Well, and my mission of the remaining 5 days of this season is to figure out how to make Is It Storm good. That's all I know. I've got a deck list here marked Is It Storm PD 500, which I'm very glad I didn't play.
I was gonna play. I was really considering. I just threw this together. I was considering playing the Hushnot, the Orzhov Hushnot deck. I think it's pretty good. I don't like the
it's really
build.
good. It's funny.
I
I
was-
made the exact same deck ages ago. With Hunter, but I put in Eater of Days and Sundial of the Infinite. So instead of making it good, I went like very
Just
hard on.
Just full meme.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but it's funny. I played it in casual. I beat everyone in casual, and I thought I
Yeah.
still don't want to play this deck. I don't believe in it, and didn't play it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Anyway,
it looks like a much saner approach.
this deck looks really good. You
Fine.
showed it to me earlier. I thought
Yeah,
like
it
the
looks really
the
good.
bodyguards, like, because I was thinking the same thing where
And Soren
Well,
gets either piece once
yeah.
they're dead as well.
My thing was that,
So
like,
agree.
all the decks lacked, like, so they play their 12-12 and they just think it's gonna win. But if you
Yeah.
just kill it, like,
Right.
that's crazy. So you need protection. That's
Yeah.
why I played
Part of
Snakes
the
and
reason
Veil.
Part of
Yeah,
the
I
reason
was
I
like-
switched to Dimir was because I figured I have 4 Blood Chiefs first in my main deck. If everyone plays Hushnaw, I'll win.
Right. So, like, the
wouldn't
next
play
level
against
is
Hushnaw.
just protect it. That was the next level.
Yeah,
so
I think I would have a hard time against 1 mana and on
who
board.
remembers that
0
Snakeskin
mana.
Veil counter? Oh my god.
Should I
yeah,
push
that
I'll
was
win the
great.
tournament.
That was great. Seal of Cleansing on board, make a 12/12 artifact. What? We'll kill it then. Nope.
Oh my god.
Make
But no,
it a
Bodyguard's.
13/13.
I think Bodyguard's a great addition because it doesn't have like inner battlefield effect. It just sits there.
The only
And-
thing about Bodyguard is it's fucking awful if you're not doing your thing. Because it's a fucking
Yeah.
1/1/1.
What attacks for
Yeah, I
one?
I guess you have 7 of your thing. Are you mulliganing one of your 7 things? Probably not, right?
No, probably not. I mean, yeah, you're right.
You don't have a lot of dig though. Like
You're right.
what
That's
are you
the thing.
keeping that doesn't have one of your 7 monsters.
Well, I
2
mean,
lingering souls and some interaction.
yeah. You could keep him as free wins too.
Yeah,
Should I
that's
push
true.
through?
I got him out of a game earlier today, but I did win that match.
Oh,
Should
the
I
stuff.
push through the
Oh yeah, I can do it. You want to look at the top 8?
Yeah, I want to see the top. We should
Okay.
discuss the top.
Oh
8.
yeah, bring up the lists.
All right, I'll take care of that right now.
Wait, whose screen are we looking at on the stream?
I'm just watching his stream at this point. Or you could share your screen. That's probably better.
No, I mean I don't mind watching the stream. I'm just curious how you're going to deal with getting the lists up if we're looking at.
Yeah. I'll put
next stream.
I'll put my browser. I'll put my browser on the screen.
Cool.
Are you putting it on your stream? Okay,
Yeah. I'll
that's fine.
let me take a 30-second bathroom break real quick.
Okay.
here.
So yeah, I mean that was fun. So you're really surprised you beat like 2 of the aggro side decks, huh? Baker.
Yeah, I said, sod this. I'm going to play the deck I want to play that I enjoy playing, even though I stopped playing it earlier this season because it just loses to aggro slide and metalworks and has a fairly hard time against Druid as well. And I thought, look, maybe other people will beat those decks and I won't have to play them. And I immediately queued into a cycling player and then a cycling player with a bye because they'd won a tournament with cycling. And they played Lightning Rift on turn 2 5 times across the 2 matches. And thanks to my Feed the Swarms and Ratchet Bombs and other things.
Yeah, so the
even though
thing
they all resolved, I beat them all.
this is the thing, and this is I guess why I kind of respect Swift Warcry at this point. There's just that when you're like the top deck, and this happens a lot in Penny Dreadful, is that you don't like want to change, right? You don't want to you don't try to adapt. You don't try to keep moving forward with your deck. So it stays stagnant. So you can play like your deck. You can play the Black Shadow deck or Delver deck, and you can adapt to that because they're not going to adapt to you back.
Yeah.
So this is the same thing with like Crazy Balance
The
lists.
only deck that adapted to me was, or to the meta as a whole, was Metalworks, which
Right.
Bob 49.
Yeah, they kept churning too.
Plan with Vexing Shusher and Rampage of the
Right.
Clans and everything specifically because.
And it's the same thing about this Orzhov list that we're looking at right now. It's on a screen. Is that like you want to keep adapting the better decks? That's how you get ahead. So so that's why you play Snakeskin Veils and you play Feed the Swarms and Ratchet Bombs, things like that.
I think in general, like we have a lot of people who just net deck, which is fine, perfectly encouraged. But sometimes decks stagnate if nobody is working on like developing them or making innovating on them.
Yeah, Hermit Druid got a lot better quickly. It started off very good and it got even better very quickly. It was frightening.
Yeah, I'm actually really surprised Shadow 4-3 didn't do much.
Yeah, and
They started 3-0.
Did not come out of retirement for the PD 500 to prove that Druid was the best deck. I'm really glad to see that the winner of the kickoff the 2 premier tournaments this season are Teal Sucks and Boros Aggro, which is not playing any white.
Well, it's just so they just
make any white mana.
They probably didn't make a title, so that's how like Gatherling does it. So they're looking at the white card.
With 2 terrible names for our 2 premier tournament winners.
I mean, they're looking at the white card in Figure Desk.
At least Teal does actually suck.
We will. So let's go through.
official.
Let's go through the. Let's look at these lists.
Yep.
So they lost once in the Swiss to the one and only BAKERT99.
Yeah,
So-
most people, all the 7-1s made it. There was one X2 that made it, which was Rydell, and then Zizian was the only one that went undefeated in the Swiss. So
So I just want to prove real quick.
yeah, show it. Show you've been biting. You've been waiting. You want to show
Yeah.
show the history, show the lore. Do it.
So originally, if you look at Harry Froglegs, let's see.
It has mountains in it, and you once made a deck in 1987 with mountains in it. So
Correct.
you are the winner. You actually won, and the prizes should be going to you. I agree.
So if you look, they made a deck called Medium Red, inspired by Tombstay. Now you might say, but CRAZYBALOTH, you're not Tombstay.
I mean, sometimes I think of you as heralding Tombstay.
I might call you. I could just change your name to Tuesday real quick.
Tuma.
Tuesday.
But if you look at Tombstay's red deck wins deck, it looks something like this. Now that's an interesting one because they're playing 4 main deck Incendiary Flow, 4 main deck Spikefield Hazard, 2 Frenzy, 2 Karisev. Weird.
Yeah,
Weird. Where did they get this list
playing
from?
these bad cards like Incendiary
Yeah,
Flow. We love
weird.
Karisev.
Where did they get this list from? So it turns out.
Why are you playing Flow?
Why are you playing White Mountains, you gross pervert?
So the reason for playing Incendiary Flow was because I was like kind of worried about Hermit, and I figured
exile it. Nice.
Yeah. So this was the list I built originally. I think it's pretty good. I played 2 leagues with it and went 4-1 in both of them. It felt pretty good. I had like some random sideboard cards, like the 1 Red Cap Melee, the 1 Dire Fleet, the 1 Tybalt. I like these Chandras in the sideboard for more grind. If
I like the way
Frenzy's
the
not
land count is perfectly positioned so that you will both have a dead Experimental Frenzy and not get 4 lands.
right, exactly. Well, there's 4. There's
Or if you
actually
don't
20.
draw the Frenzy, you probably drew an extra land and you will have 4.
Well,
Oh, you got hazards. Oh, okay. So you're actually completely fine with getting to 4.
yeah,
Oh,
it's actually
yeah.
26 lands.
That's interesting. That shows a strong desire to very frequently cast Spikefield Hazard as a spell. I guess.
Yes.
I guess that it's
Yeah.
not. It's not terrible. It's not terrible.
No, it's okay.
Good
Yeah,
night.
I mean, it kills.
You stayed up all
kills,
this late. That's pretty good. What time is it in Madrid? 3 a.m. Good night. Bon nuit, as they say in Spain.
I don't know about the megalith. That's definitely random. I don't think the megalith could definitely be cut. So
I like megaliths. I've always liked megaliths. I think it's just slightly worse than encampment always.
Yeah.
But
yeah, it's probably the worst.
I don't know. Encampment's really good against control decks, and that doesn't exist. So I don't know. Maybe megaliths is better.
I do like the Chandra Frenzy combo. That's a nice one. So Harry Froglegs has been tearing up the league with their. If you look at their win percentage, it's quite high. They've been tearing up the league with this medium red deck, which was roughly based on something I originally made. Just want to throw it out there. But the winner. So I don't necessarily agree with cutting down to just basically they only have
Incendiary Flow. So points to them for that.
I could get on board with that, right? Like they're playing definitely. I had Magma Jet in the slot in the very first draft because I liked the fact that it could manipulate the top for Frenzy. And I think they're all reasons.
Price of Progress. God damn it! Get your 3 wins. You've got to have 4, surely.
So I mean, I think this list is pretty reasonable. I don't love playing this. I didn't have Ferocitons. I had more 1-drops. So I had the full 4 Nobles and a couple more 2-drops. I had the 2 Karisev, and they cut those for the 4 Ferocitons in the main. I think I just had like 1 Ferocitons.
Ferocitons is a very good card. It was banned in Standard. I will say, Zepta, just quickly taking an aside from this conversation to address your comment, that Encampment did not decide that match, and in fact was totally irrelevant. The massive 4/4 and Experimental Frenzy decided that match. Okay, back to the regular schedule programming. Yeah. So what you're saying is they took your deck, which said fundamentally maybe play more than 18 lands, maybe play Experimental Frenzy, and then they made it actually good.
Yeah.
Holy shit! This deck has 1. Oh no, I see. Strong Cut Noble. So it only has 8 1-drops. I guess 8 is fine in this kind of curve.
That's kind of what I was saying, right? Like I had more 1-drops and I had 26 lands, which I still like playing 26 lands if you count the 4. So they have 23, but no hazards. I still like the 26 with the hazards personally. But I can definitely.
Hazard does give you a lot of flexibility about whether you're going to go to 4 lands or not, based on your draw and everything. But I don't know.
So
It's not a great spell, is it? It's not like it.
I absolutely test Michael Hazard.
Oh, here's
Oh,
our
no.
winner. He can tell us
Yeah.
about the evolution. Well, yeah, I'm not trying to claim that you didn't have an original idea, Hairy Froglegs. In fact, we can see
It's a
quite
10
clearly
spike
that you've
field
made this deck
hazard.
better
Love
by
it.
doing very difficult things like removing incendiary flow from it. So
Bailoff won the PD 500. That's basically what I'm arguing right now. Is that I won. That's
all right. Well,
thank you.
I think we can all agree that if there's going to be a tournament in which masses of the successful field was going to be red deck wins, you'd be pretty happy to be on this deck. And it's great.
Yeah,
And
they
I
definitely
like Frenzy giving you the chance of winning against
like
yeah,
Rakdos and whatever.
yeah,
I think it's like
Rakdos is really good against
insane
Rakdos,
against the
isn't it?
Rakdos deck. It's insane
Oh,
against
well,
like
you don't have any life gains, so you can burn them out anyway. You're probably
Yeah.
against them to begin with. But anyway, yeah, it's
well, they can deal with like game. They have Froston's main deck.
it also looks more fun than like just playing infinite Rakdos Cacklers and hoping they don't have Pyroclasm.
Right.
You
Yeah,
get to
definitely.
experimental frenzy and do funky things in your upkeep and stuff.
Yeah, there's a lot more play to this kind of red deck. You have a lot more decisions, I think, because
I'm just
is just such a boss.
I'm just glad we came full circle and played good red cards. Honestly, Chain Whirler, Ferocodon, they're just like good cards.
Lavamancer.
I mean, 7 3s and 8 1s, though. I mean, that's really unusual for a PD red deck.
Well, I
And
mean,
4 2s.
even the
4
curve.
twos.
If you look at like the right side
The
in there,
curve is bizarre.
well, the curve, the mana curve in general is like fine, right?
Yeah,
look
you
at-
can
look,
always
it's, like,
incinerate their
just
face,
fine.
incinerate their best
Yeah.
creature or whatever on turn 2.
One drops are hidden in the burn spell slot. Yeah, this was my original version of this deck. Yeah, like I said, I still like Hazard. Harry Frogleg says they detest Spikefield Hazard. We can agree to
fine,
disagree.
yeah.
I just like having the.
Every time you nab a Birds of Paradise with it, and you already have 3 lands, it's just like fucking beautiful.
I'm interested about the Weather
not
Runestone.
interesting on either side, and that's really depressing.
I guess you're interested about what?
Is Runestone better than Spellbomb? I always thought Spellbomb was better. Like,
probably not. Also, Runestone is a non-bow with Frenzy. It turns off your own Frenzy.
Spellbomb is a lot better against mono black.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. You can't even cast spells off top of your library. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's definitely suspect. I'm not saying the sideboard is perfect by any stretch. I was just throwing stuff in there, and I forgot that it's a non-bow with the Frenzy, but I kept it anyway because I was worried about.
Let's look at a non-red deck that made the top 8, if there are any.
Well, okay. Let's just. I mean, I guess we'll just go through the list in order, right?
Give me the Wayward Guide Beast.
Each one get the year list.
Yes.
Top 2.
So here we're on the Zergo deck wins, right? With the
only 2
Zergos. We no longer have 4 Zergos.
4 Zergos is wrong.
We're down to 2. I mean, Zergo's a good card. Like, I think playing the first one is pretty free. I mean, you could probably put one in the other deck also. And you're probably
the first one is better than Rakdos Cackler by quite a bit, isn't it?
Yeah, for sure. You do have Eyesight.
Proliferate cards. 2 Arc Trail in the main. I mean, that card just nabs people sometimes. 2 Price of Probes. This is a deck looking to get kind of lucky in some way, isn't it? You know, like, it's going to be okay that I have to bounce my land. I'm going to get 2 things with my Arc Trail. They're going to be playing non-basic lands. It's like, got a lot of angles for like, well, you're fucked.
For sure.
Eyesight Golem. I mean, it's a 2/2 for 1, isn't it?
I mean, the probes with absolutely no prowess creatures, they only exist to fuel your Lavamancer and your Barbarian Ring, I suppose. It's pretty marginal. I don't know if I can. If just having these be Spikefield Hazards would probably be better, because it's kind of like, you have
will be better because it's a card you could cast, and it's not terrible in the mirror match.
Yeah.
I hate probe. I hate the idea of it. I even hate it in the prowess decks, honestly. But like, it makes more sense. It makes the most sense in the prowess decks, but it just like is a normal sort of like, yeah, I don't want to draw more lands, so I'm gonna play probes. It's just a terrible idea, I think, because you could just play the multi-place dual card.
It's not nothing that it feels Lavamancer, but yeah, I guess it seems kind of thin.
Yeah,
it just doesn't do anything though. It just doesn't do anything.
Like Smash, you really came prepared for the semblance anvils. I don't hate it.
I always put shenanigans in my sideboard because I really feel like
I like a 3/1. I like one shenanigans, but if I'm playing red, I like a couple of smashes.
The first shenanigans is really good, right? Because you only
bring in graveyard hate against decks that have a ton. Artifact removal against decks that have a ton of artifacts, right? You don't want a dead card in your red deck. 18 land red deck wins. If their entire deck is based on artifacts, and that's the whole point of you making this sideboarding decision, don't you just want to be completely fuck them out of the game, not kill the first one and do 3 damage? I don't know. If you're an 18 land red deck, maybe you just want to kill the first one and do 3 damage.
Maybe, yeah, maybe. I think there's arguments for either way. I do like playing the first shenanigans because if you draw it, it's really good, right? But I don't know. If you're drawing multiple, you probably really want the subsequent ones to be smashes, right?
You can also dredge it to fuel Lavamancer, which is probably a better interaction than get probed for Lavamancer.
This is true. Lavamancer dredge. All right, we broke it. We broke it, guys. All right, moving on.
I love
we have another.
boss.
This is a similar list. We got the full 4 figure. We got a couple Kenras. We got a couple Guide Beasts. We got a couple Zergo. We got the 1 Chain Ruler, 1 Lava Man.
How many lands?
Still on Forget Port.
18.
Still 18 lands.
I'm not really
the 18 land deck.
18 land deck, right? Like you're hoping to play 2 lands max in like the first 3 or 4 turns. So figure's just a Echo 1/2/2.
Yeah, for sure.
I love figure. I love figure in 24 land red for sure. Like sometimes it's just like, well, guess I'll make an 8/8 flying first strike, whatever the fuck it is. You know?
I actually like Flamekeld, but I don't think it's. I think it's
pretty good also.
Yeah, I think it's better with these low to the ground decks where you're playing a bunch of like 1 mana damage spells. But
yeah, this list is very similar to the list that came second. So there's obviously something in this approach, right? 2 in the top 8.
Yeah, agreed. I
still
think
hate
that
probe.
I think that I think you probably want Lava Dart or something, but I mean I do like Flame of Kel because it makes you not less like if your opponent like the problem with this style of deck is if your opponent interacts with your first couple things successfully, you just run out of gas very quickly.
Yeah, you've got this 15 life mountain to climb, and your deck is full of crap.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I will say I've drawn 2 mounts off Flamekeld and it's felt really bad. It's actually like one of the worst things that could happen ever.
Yeah, and also you discarded 2 lethal burn spells when you first cast it.
Oh, I'm always hellbent. I'm always hellbent when I cast my Flamekeld.
But you would have drawn those mountains anyway, right? So you actually, it's better to have Flame of Keld than anything else.
Yeah, probably. I mean, Frenzy's better, but you know that's 4 mana. So if you're playing 18 lands, you're not playing Frenzy, and you're playing Flame of Keld. I think that's fine. I think it's a fine decision to make.
Yeah, I mean, I would rather in that deck playing 1 3-drop and no 4s seems about as ambitious as you want to get.
Yeah, agreed. So that's fine.
What came fourth? Another red.
Fourth place. We got Rakdos mid range.
Oh yeah, that's right. It wasn't 4 red deck wins. It's 3.
Standard list. We got our Dreadhorde Butcher.
Beat Druid in the quarters. God, they must have thought they were on their way.
How do you feel?
This deck with 3 main deck Pyroclasms has a good red deck wins matchup in general, and Erebos is.
I think they just like missed a bunch of land drops in their game 3 against Harry Frog Lake.
There's Sweltering Suns in the main as well. Yeah, you got to feel favored, haven't you?
I think that you really want to play against the 18 land version, not the 23 land experimental friend.
Oh my god! Oh yeah, that's right. In that game 1, they kept holding the Scorpion God. They just refused to attack their opponent.
Oh yeah, there was an interesting spot where it was like, do I want to die to a haster or do I want to die to giving you more draw strips?
I mean, there's definitely thin margins with this deck because as you can see, they 2-1 pretty much every round except this.
Oh wow, yeah. Not the only person they 2-0'd was me.
Well, yeah. I mean, basically, it's like so. It's because of the way their deck's constructed. Basically, they're super pre-boarded against creature decks and unboarded against like non-creature decks. So if I don't know if you look, I don't really can't see the matchups.
They're leaning on him, aren't they? And like the card advantage of Tectonic Giant or whatever in the non, and the fact that the Scorpion God can't be killed and blah blah blah. You know,
I mean, like
some like nods to like how do I actually beat a deck that isn't fucked up by creature removal. And of course, some of our combo decks are fucked up by creature removal, which probably helps a lot.
Yeah.
For wanting to be in this configuration, because this configuration is probably quite good against Druid.
How do you guys feel about? I mean, I think the spells. Obviously, there's a million different directions you can go. I mean, I think you're pretty locked into for him, and the rest of it is like whatever.
Yeah.
I actually am surprised they're not playing for Terminate.
I mean, it is also true that a him deck does not have to play red necessarily. I mean, I think you get some really good stuff out of red here, including all of the threats.
I was very close to
Yeah.
playing like a Terminate deck. I thought Terminate's like it's a super clean spell.
Terminate
The best
is a
removal
very good
spell.
card.
The best removal spell we probably ever had.
I think the problem with Terminate is that you can only play it in red-black, right? Like,
Oh yeah,
I guess
yes.
you can play it in like a mega tap land Grixis control or something, but we've established that those decks are not good, I think.
I mean, no one's really tried that, but I mean,
Well, I have.
how do you feel?
Make it as far as the league.
How do you feel about 2 Scorpion God, 1 Glorybringer, 1 Goblin Dark Dwellers, and then the rest of the stuff?
I feel nothing, but I mean, like when you have Tectonic Giant, you want to look at a lot of cards, so
The only
it
thing
just
I
gives
know
you
is that
pile of
full
options.
Garrison is definitely correct because it's the only way this deck has of starting to close games from early, right? Like,
Yeah. Yeah, I like the Hammer Garrisons.
You really want to be able to, like, in the right matchup, just jam something that's going to kill them.
I'm not sold on the Butcher personally. I know a lot of people love the Butcher.
Butcher gets way out of hand. That's the thing about it. And like, even if it doesn't get way out of hand, it's because it blocked something blocked in. It traded with their best creature. Like,
Okay.
I don't know. It's,
Yeah, I mean,
like, I agree that it doesn't really fit this deck, right? We have main deck Pyroclasm and Sweltering Suns. We're all removing and card advantage. And
it feels like an
Dreadhorde
aggro or an aristocrat's card, but it's it seems strange in this deck. But I
think
also
the thing
agree
is,
with
it's just so good on rate and good
Yeah.
in some matchups where most of the other cards aren't so good.
Yeah.
You kind of just keep it anyway. But yeah, I agree. It's a pretty bad top deck frequently, but
Yeah. It also lines up pretty badly against Spikefield Hazard if they're playing that sometimes.
yes. Yeah, that's pretty bad.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, I mean, the problem this deck has, I guess, if anything, is that it's very slow to close, right? So if the opposing deck is trying to burn you out, or the opposing deck is trying to assemble their combo a second time or something, then you don't kill very quickly. And so you really need to go to like turn 8 or something before you can possibly win. But it's a very good deck. We've seen it a bunch. Now here's an interesting deck.
Do you not have a buy? Wow, sad.
No, I did not have a buy. It's very sad.
Buys are overrated, I told you.
First 5 games I faced turn 2 Lightning Rift. I won 4 of them. No one knows how. There was a clutch reanimate in one of them because they finally got to enough lands that they could kill Tassiger, my only man standing, and I was like, oh shit, reanimate Curator of Mysteries. Now I have 2 things. If you spend the whole turn killing Tassiger, Curator of Mysteries kills you. Woo-hoo.
Yeah, I mean, like when you have like X4s, you can get under a rift really quickly. And
in round 7, on turn 1 of game 1, no, turn 2 of game 1, I reanimated Strike Riverwinder and put myself to 13 against Red Deck Wins.
Was that right?
That was a really interesting game. I won on 1 life.
I'm a pretty big fan of Strike Riverwinder Reanimate, and I think that I did this
not there for the Red Deck Wins matchup. The funny thing is that I had Curator of Mysteries in hand, and I looked at it for so long, and I was like, actually, they'll probably just double spell because it's so early in the game on my Curator, whereas Riverwinder's going to kill them. I'm going to take 7 instead of 4. It's only 3 more life, he said to himself.
Yeah.
I think that's
well,
probably
it turned
right. But it's funny because I played 1 Riverwinder on the basis that I don't really want it that much. It's Curator that I want because it's only 4 life. But actually, facing literally Red Deck Wins, I decided I want a Riverwinder. So maybe I have to change my setup. Tassiger is the best card in the format by far, and it makes all the aggro matchups so much easier. Delver was shit for me all day. I even boarded 4 out a couple of times.
I was thinking the same thing about Delver. You know what you actually would have been interesting to maybe try? Is maybe like Judge's Familiar. That's hot.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, Judge's Familiar does not kill your opponent. I only have 12 creatures. And I really need my creatures to kill my
Or, wait. How about... I don't know. I got nothing. I was going to say like Gutter Bones or Dreadwater.
Yeah, I thought about a lot of different cards, but this is where I've ended up. Brineborn Cutthroat's a really obvious potential one, but I just like being able to play Treasure Cruise, Blood Chiefs, Thirst, Gataxian Probe, which are all sorceries and don't feed the swarm. My Feed the Swarm killed a Lightning Rift. I had a counter spell, and I let Lightning Rift resolve, and that is the best feeling there could possibly be because I had Feed the Swarm.
I would be interested in Stubborn Denial also, but I guess you already have 4. I guess counter spells.
Yeah, Smokage took a version of this deck to a 5-0 recently in the league, like just this week, and it's so close to this list in that it has 2 Unexpected Fangs amongst other things. So I think it's probably copied from mine or inspired by mine. I don't know. Maybe it's just obvious. And he has 4 Striped Riverwinder, interestingly.
Okay.
And he plays 2 Stubborn Banana in the main.
Isn't that
Yeah,
more like
it-
reanimate heavy though?
I've always he plays 4 Reanimate and 8 Cyclers, so yeah, he's got 4 more cards in that package than I have. But I mean, it's still one of my main ways to kill my opponent is to reanimate a
Yeah, I
I
mean,
reanimated the Tectonic Giant in this tournament, and that was great.
yeah. What if you just like switch from like a Delver thing to like 4 Tassiger, 4 Kyrie, 4 Stripe Rewinder, and just played a couple life deaths as well, and then you could play
Yeah,
like.
I mean, the thing is that you very rarely have the life to do it a second time.
Well, you could play
Right.
the Fangs main deck then,
Yeah, that's what Smokey
or
said.
even like
Move the
Whip of
Fangs to the
Erebos or
main.
something, some
They
nonsense
move
like
the
that.
Fangs to the main, so then you've got a 6/6 lifelink hexproof some amount of the time, which is obviously game against any fair deck.
I like that idea. Yeah. I mean, this is we need to have more.
You've got to look at the mana base of this deck. I swear to you, this is the kind of mana base I criticize so much, but I swear to you, I've been playing this deck all season, and apart from not having double black for Bile-Blight, and I know it doesn't make double black this deck. The mana
That
is
doesn't
just
make double
so
black.
smooth. It's just so yeah. The idea of Bile-Blight is that it's for a Rampage of the Clans, and that happens in the late game after lots of toing and froing. So
Would it just play a 3rd Ratchet Bomb then?
No, because it's an instant. And so if Ratchet Bomb's in play, it gets destroyed. And if it's not in play, then they just untap and kill you with 17
That's
3/3s.
yeah.
Or 8 3/3s. So Ratchet Bomb doesn't actually work against Rampage the Clans in some circumstances. When they do the perfect thing, which is, the game drags on forever, nobody's winning, and they get a shusher, and then end of turn, they do an uncounterable Rampage the Clans and an attack. Bile-Blight wins in that scenario, and almost no other card in the format does, which is why it's in there. But I didn't play against Metalworks, and that was maybe over. And I actually brought it in against Reddit Wins, and then died not having the double black, so that was probably stupid because it's really only meant for the late game.
Yeah,
anyway,
we watched.
I've opted to drown Catacomb to the bottom to play around Price of Progress, and then drew a double black card, which is pretty depressing. So I only had 1 black source. Yeah, the deck is great. It can even beat cycling somehow, even though all of its threats, apart from Tassiger, died to double activation of Lightning Rift. I think it's probably a dog to Druid and Metalworks and
It feels like you have enough interaction
and cycling, but
it feels like
it's
you have
never
enough
more
interaction.
than it's never lower than 45% against anything, and it's really fun to play, and you make millions of decisions.
I feel as though you have enough interaction that you should be alright against Druid. Like usually Druid, if you have like a spell bomb and 2 interactive spells, they lose. Like that's my experience.
Yeah. It's all about the cheap removal, the spell one, and a clock. For sure. And it has all of those things. I don't know that I'm disfavored against Druid, to be honest. Like, I suspect this is one of those Jundy type decks where all of the matches are kind of close because you have counterspell and card selection and so forth. So it's just kind of destined to head towards the middle. Anyway,
it's like the 5th version of my red deck by Board Part. So for the first time we see Phoenix of Ash. It's their grindy element of choice.
Yeah,
Still
I like that card.
It's pretty good.
It reads to me better than Chandra's Phoenix, which was always good enough for PD in earlier days when it was maybe slightly less powerful.
Yeah, agreed.
And it just reads better than that to me. I would way
Yes,
rather pay 1 more.
Ash Zealot will ping you if you cast your Phoenix of Ash from your
Yeah, it's a bit awkward.
It also conflicts a bit with Grim Lavamancer, right?
And with Wayward Guide Beast. If Wayward Guide Beast is getting in, you ain't escaping Phoenix of Ash anytime soon.
Yeah. And then we have 20 lands if we count Spikefield Hazard.
3 Spikefield Hazard, 17. Yeah, I mean, this is 2 price in the main again, hoping to.
So because they can't play Gigantha, that's pretty bad in red decks, I think. I mean,
probably worth a sideboard slot and not playing Ash Zealot. You could just play Earthshaker Kenra there and then play Gigantha.
I think he meant the Phoenix also turns off Gigantha.
Oh, Phoenix, yeah. Ash Zealot does too.
I would rather have Lavamancer or Phoenix than Gigantha.
Well, Lavamancer doesn't conflict with it, but Phoenix does.
Oh, really?
Phoenix and
because it's double red.
Yeah.
Right,
Phoenix
right,
also
right.
the only card you can't play.
Double red. Right.
Yeah, I mean, this is 10, 12, 14 ones. So again, this is more in the style of the losing finalist. Phoenix Slash, yeah, the main.
Only
difference
lost
is
to
this.
the pseudo mirrors. It's really funny.
Yeah, this
Yeah,
is.
I mean, this is a format where if you don't prepare for red deck wins, you lose to it.
But look at their deck. They have like 4 arc trails, like plenty of burn. This is surprising.
It is true that I mean, yeah.
Oh,
I don't
so you're
know.
surprised they lost to the mirror?
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Twice.
Oh, I see. Yeah, Phoenix seems like it'd be really good in the mirror.
Yeah, I mean, it could just be variants, right?
Yeah.
Only 2 matches.
Yeah.
And then
finally, we found a hermit deck.
Yeah, big
This is
worry.
pretty standard.
I was planning so hard to at least like have a plan against this deck, and I can't believe I didn't play against any of them. I'm actually glad I didn't play.
I think I'm going to end the season with a winning record against this deck, which honestly is quite surprising to me. But
yeah, I suspect I will as well.
The falling leaf in the main.
Yeah, I don't really understand the point of having Dosan and Teferi, and it just seems well. The idea is that if you Angels of Glorious Rise back your humans, you get your Teferi and you get your Dosan back also, which totally locks your opponent out interacting with your, which is fine, but you don't need both of these cards. you only need one of them, right?
And you also get 2 freebooters and the ability to win instant speed. So I don't know how much of that you need, but
I guess they're all like I guess they're all creatures, so eventually you could discard them to like Fauna Shaman. So if you have one of them in your hand, you still have the other. So it's like
I mean,
that's kind of why.
Trash in it'll be fine. I don't.
How many lands?
It doesn't.
20 lands. So it's not hard casting Coalition on a guard or Teferi anytime. I guess we can form into these things.
We have more mana sources.
Oh yeah.
Yes, you can cast the 4-drop.
Okay.
I don't think you're casting a creature very reliably though.
No. Nice. So
how many
those 2,
I like how they're
tech. It's very much.
I like how they're playing Mask Vandal main deck. I don't think a lot of people play that.
Well, they always play some creature that destroys an artifact because they want to be able to.
Actually, I remember a lot of us weren't doing it, but I guess I was just
maybe
behind.
not in the main. Maybe not in the main. I don't know. But people have been playing main deck Spellbomb.
So when I played this deck, I cut the. I mean, I didn't play some of this nonsense. Like I didn't play obviously main deck. Like
Shield of the Gate.
I also cut these green mana dorks because the deck really doesn't need that much mana to combo.
Green mana. But what can you play? Elves of Deep Shadow or something?
Well, I was playing Basking Root Lala in this slot because it's it works. It works well with Fauna Shaman.
It's a human. It reanimates things. It puts things in your graveyard. No, none of those things are true.
What? No, well, the thing is, you need a certain number of 1-drops for your Neoform to work, right?
I see. But so it's a free 1-drop off of Fauna Shaman activation that then goes away with a Neoform to make a 2/2 Druid.
I was playing more copies of
Merpedy or Merpady or whatever his name is. Makes the important point that you should not play 4 Elvish Mystic. You should play Fyndhorn Elves and Llanowar Elves and everything in case of Bile Blight.
Yeah, that's probably also accurate. I don't know. I think I've played this deck a bunch myself, and I was not overly impressed. I mean, I think it's fine, but...
well, that's funny. I spent all season thinking it's almost unbeatable, although I do have a winning record against it somehow.
I mean, I think you should try playing it and then see if you can.
I did play it. I went something like 2/2. I did the same with Metalworks. I played it, went about 2/2, and like, okay, that's enough of that. Yeah. I mean, I guess it's more the way you die. I guess it's sort of
Well, I did die to it, and I mean, really, I lost because I lost the die roll, which happens a lot, right? Like because if you get to turn 4, then you have something, and like I can play Parallax Wave, and they can never win. But if I turn 4 because they have the Druid on turn 3 and they're on the play, then I lose. And that's kind of how the game played out. Like I had the Reflector Mage, but then they had the Fauna Shaman to discard it and lunge it back. So they basically had the perfects on the play in game 1.
I mean, that's the thing though. Like between Neoform, Postmodern, Lunge, and everything else, like you've never like some combo decks, like if you can force them to go for it and then exile their graveyard successfully and then exile it again when they try and Memory's Journey or whatever, that's great, right? Because then they've lost. But in the situations where you're like killing things and stuff, you've never really won, right? You now have to clock them also.
Yeah.
And that's tough. But yeah, maybe Parallax Wave is the answer.
Yeah, no, I mean, I generally have like a pretty good matchup against it. Like it feels very 50-50, very die roll dependent. So that's how I rolled sometimes at the wrong end of the die roll this time. So happens.
I mean, it's obviously going to win some games against everybody because some games it's going to play a druid on turn 2 and you're going to have mulligan to 5 and not found an answer for a turn 2 druid and you're going to die.
Right.
Yeah, I won't miss it.
Yeah, Druid's gonna take a break for at least one season.
Put a little pressure on my deck building that I did not enjoy. Kind of like aggro side.
I mean, everyone plays Nihil Spellbomb in their sideboard anyway, which is another big reason why the Druid deck I think isn't as dominant.
I think just one thing
if
about
they're not clocking you, you just spend your time to get a Masked Vandal and with your Fauna Shaman.
No, I know, but just like if Nihil Spellbomb is the most played card in the format period, there's going to be some percentage of games you lose because they drew 3 Nihil Spellbombs. You know?
Yeah. But I mean, the thing is, they can do that whole thing where they, where they get Labman in play and then activate.
Yeah, no,
they don't care about your Nihil Spellbomb.
I know. I'm just saying, like, just statistically, like.
Yeah, I mean, I think, if I saw a hand that was 4 lands, 3 Nihil Spellbombs, I wouldn't keep it thinking, well, I've won.
Yeah, no, I agree.
I'm probably dead.
I agree.
I guess one last thing about Druid is that, like, I think it's like power level scale based on if two things. One, if Narcomoeba is legal or not, and two, like how many untapped non-base do I have? The things things like Yavimikos and Llanowar Waste are like really big for this deck because they're not just like playing mono tap lands.
Yeah, that's definitely true.
8 and Neoform also, and Postmortem Lounge also. Like, there's so many pieces that made
it was like a perfect storm of having a really good deck. I'm actually surprised more versions weren't even played, but I think like people like mono red a lot more. Just fine.
Right. It's also like you're trying to untap with an X1 against a field full of mono red is another thing that can be tough sometimes, right? Which is to say, like, I'm sure they beat mono red a bunch of times. So they beat mono red, they lost to Rakdos, they lost to red, they beat Wave, they beat Cycling, and they lost to black red again. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, it is a tough ask. I mean, some percentage of games, your Hermit Druid's going to die, and then you're going to untap Postmortem Lunge and kill the red deck. But that doesn't always happen. Games where that doesn't happen, and especially I found against the
You've mulliganed to a situation where you can present the threat once.
Yeah.
You can't be mulliganing to, I can go 3 times. I mean, if you get a hand that can go 3 times, great. But if you just get a bird and a Neoform and a land, you're probably keeping, right?
And then if they have the burn spell, then you're just kind of at the mercy of your top deck.
Draw something, or draw a Fauna Shaman, draw a Postmortem Lunge, something.
Well, Fauna Shaman is pretty bad against red deck wins.
Yeah, it's true. It just dies. Yeah. Lunge is the card, I guess, against red deck wins, right?
Yes, Lunge. Potentially the bridges.
The Crashing Drawbridge.
Yeah.
They're not playing. That's a better card against them than most of the cards.
Yeah.
2 Narcomoebas. It's really interesting that the number of Narcomoebas dropped over the season down to 2. But I guess, between the Mana Dorks and the Druid itself and everything.
Yeah, I was playing 2.
And you can also, can you Phantasmagorian anything that's in your hand? No, that doesn't work. But yeah, that's kind of interesting, only 2 Narcomoebas. I would have always assumed that the best version of this deck would have 4, but obviously people that played it a lot more than me decided to. I mean, it is a crap draw, obviously.
No, you don't really need more than 2, I think, because you always have the Druid in play. Like if they haven't interacted with the Druid when you untap with it, then they're not going to interact with it once you've activated it. I mean, it is kind of crappy sometimes if you drew the Narcomoeba during the course of the game, but playing more Narcomoebas is not necessary.
But that's what Phantasmagorian is for, right? Oh no, does that work or not? No, because they don't from your library.
Dead works. Phantasmagorian doesn't. All right, so here we have another Rakdos deck. Pretty much similar. Not playing the. They actually cut the butcher, so maybe they agree with me. Interesting. Similar otherwise. No Glory Bringer. They're playing 2 Reanimates. I actually like Reanimate randomly
I
as
played
like
this deck the other day with some deck with reanimates in it. I can't even think what it was. Not the one I played today. And they just completely fucked me by reanimating my things. I think they reanimated my own Demigod of Revenge and killed me with
I saw. Oh, we saw that. Yeah, I saw that in the last
if
stream.
you're going to kill, it was in the top 8, I think. If you're going to kill everything, a couple of reanimates in the main is not that bad, is it? You know. When we've got 13 main deck removal spells as well as a Scorpion God and a 3 Dark Dwellers and 2. Oh no, we don't have
what's
Arenas. So there's a
main
lot
deck
of ways to
reanimate?
kill things. So a couple of
Sometimes
reanimates.
the mono black reanimator deck has to like pass the turn with a reanimated target in their graveyard.
Yeah, absolutely. Divest myself. Ha ha ha! I'm going to make Pathways of Ulamog next turn.
Yeah, and then
No,
you take it. So it's actually like a funny hate card against mono black reanimator.
I mean, it might actually be better than Spellbomb. In fact, it is better than Spellbomb against Mono Black Reanimator.
I mean, they're nut draws. Like they have Dark Ritual, they can do it all in one go, but
yeah,
they can't do that consistently.
They keep any hand that can do it on turn 2, right? Especially in game 1. So there's
I actually like
very
this build a lot.
I think this build is. I think it's pretty solid.
It's interesting to put 4 Sign in Blood in, as if the problem is gas. Like I would have thought, like
I like Sign in Blood.
Dark Dweller, Scorpion God, they're all gas, aren't they? Like, and
That's
even
true. Although
Garrison, if it lives, is kind of gas.
Sign in Blood is specifically good with Goblin Dark Dwellers, I think, because sometimes you don't like. Sometimes you get to the late game and you have a him in your graveyard or like a removal spell. They don't
spell for creatures they don't have. Yeah.
So I think it's actually kind of makes sense.
I mean, it crushed me. Obviously, I was playing my Mimi Demigod Goblin Dark Dwellers Seething Song deck, but it crushed me.
They're the real heroes playing Battlements, though. Battlements is pretty tight.
Battlement 2. I mean, their creatures, not just Hanway Garrison, do benefit from having haste.
That's true.
Like Tectonic Giant, haste, and so on. Well, really just Tectonic Giant, I guess. Oh, and the guy itself. The one that's meant
bangs too.
It's pretty interesting that you can afford 2 colorless lands in your him deck, though. Your him Sign in Blood deck. Like, are you really?
Yeah, that's a little.
We've only got 18 black sources here.
They should have played Signet, so even Signet gamers, and then
Signet's super awkward with the double cost spells, but I guess it's probably fine. Yeah, I mean, who doesn't like drawing extra cards?
I like Fangs. It's not bad in this deck. I mean, you could just play it early and then Dark Dwellers it on your Dark Dwellers. It's super stupid value.
Oh yeah, that's nice. I always think of it as a kind of like an aura, but it's not. It's just a spell.
I'm looking at the standings on the other side. So
does anything interesting come high up in the standings?
I'm just looking through now. So this was 9th place, just another mono red Lex list. We don't have to dwell on too long. Again, okay, so this is another 3-land one with Frenzy, and even is playing one Glorybringer. So that's kind of interesting.
And the Elves deck that won the tournament yesterday came 10th.
No, that's not true. I think you're looking at the wrong. Shadow Water came in 10th.
Oh, I don't know where I got that from then.
Probably because this list is in alphabetical order once you get to.
See.
I'm looking at it on the other screen. I'm looking at the standings.
Yeah, Shadow Water played the same red deck or mid-range deck at White Press.
I was quite surprised to beat him. That's definitely. I'm pretty sure that's a bad matchup for me.
Yeah. So again, this is the White Press Enix version with the Sign in Blood.
I just got enough reanimates in and got counted enough hymns to sneak it through.
And the Unexpected Fangs. I like Bifrost too. That card's pretty nice against the. Can be pretty nice against
anti-artifact cards, but I just think Shenanigans is the best. It's just so good.
Probably right.
Like if what they're doing is artifacts, all you want to do is draw Shatter every time for the rest of the game.
11th place was Manu with Reanimator. This is just the classic.
I played against that yesterday, and it convinced me that I didn't want to play whatever I was playing at the time because I just got absolutely destroyed on turn 1 twice. He beat Jesus.
Wow, they lost to 2 red decks. That's interesting.
I mean, some percentage of the time this deck will just lose to itself.
Yeah,
true.
You get the non-existent draw, and also there's the fact that your bad draw possibly involves taking 8 damage on turn 3. Right. In which
Yeah,
point
I
you're
mean,
in a lot
on
of
the flip
trouble,
side, they beat two
It's-
red decks, so
Yeah.
Well, I would say it's probably favored.
they beat three
on
red
the whole
decks. I'm sorry.
experiment
Oh
to
my
take-
god, their gauntlet is
I'd
crazy.
say
played-
on the whole it's favored because
They played
Dream
against-
Controller beats them on turn 1 or turn 2.
played
Pathways
five-
beats them on turn 1 or
Played
turn
the mono red bracket. They played 5 red decks in a row. So
Yeah. Oh my god, I feel bad now.
I mean, I think that you are actually. I actually agree with Tom. I think you are slightly favored against red deck, despite the fact that you take 1 million damage to do your thing.
2. Yeah,
Well,
what you're doing is so powerful that they really need a nut draw to get under it. That's my take.
Yeah.
They need you to
I
be
agree.
on like death on turn 3, and they
And
have
the,
a lot of burn spells.
So if you look at like the game win percentage, like both the matches that we lost, we went 1-2, right? So if
Yeah.
we look at the game win against red, it tells kind of a different story, right? Like we're
Yeah, 6-4.
six, well 8-4 in games,
Oh, 8-4. I can't math.
so 66%. So yeah, seems like you'd be favored against the red decks overall.
Makes sense to me.
We've
I
even
mean,
got
this is
Chancellor
a
that
deck that loses to Nihil Spellbomb, of course, unless it has Dark Ritual in its
I
opening.
picked this deck because I in the Swiss because I don't know, it was very strange. Game 1 they had like a turn 2 Pathways around the play and I scooped. Game 2 I don't remember exactly what happened. They put a pretty quick Dream Trawler into play, but I top decked a Parallax Wave, which checked their Dream Trawler for consecutive turns, and then I chained it into another Parallax Wave, and eventually I was able to win with Mopey beatdowns. And then game three, they duressed me on the play, but I kept a hand with just Cloud Skate and Reflector Mage and Oust. And so they took my Oust, and then I immediately turned Nihil Spellbomb and off the top and won the game.
This is why Counterspell is better.
It's like, and then I drew Spellbomb, so I won. It makes so much sense every time I hear it.
Yeah.
And
Exactly.
then I drew
this is
Spellbomb.
unlike Druid. This is a deck that really doesn't want to see a Spellbomb.
I mean, at least they got Ratchet Bomb to like kind of, and they have red card. They have red in their sideboard, so maybe they can play like shenanigans.
Here's some spice in 12th place. We got Orzhov midrange with Glint Sleeve Siphoner. I love Glint Sleeve Siphoner. I wish Aether Hub was legal. Then I would play the shit out of this card.
Yeah, it does
looks
feel
pretty-
like nearly a Bob. Like it's nearly good enough to call a Bob.
So yeah,
any other way to make energy.
I basically classify this deck as like the shell of, and this is the thing I was thinking about a lot. It reminds me of the Orzhov Not deck, where it's like Bloodchief Thirst, Hindatorag, Vindicate. Those are like the 3 money spells because they're all just like good
exactly.
rates. They're good rates at spells. So
And you get souls.
yeah, you just
get
like put
souls.
stuff around.
In Souls, Vindicate.
Yeah, you just put good cards around it, and you have a deck.
With anyone.
And this is where, and that's where we're at here. I like
Yeah,
I like
agreed.
Obsidat a lot. I really like Obsidat. I like all the
Yeah,
cards you
Doubling down
mentioned.
on the hand disruption with Sculler, drawing some cards with Siphoner, and then
Yeah.
like a bit of life gain / kill you with the 4 other creatures. It's
Yeah.
very few creatures. Like I wonder against like red black if red black just kills all your creatures and then you fuck. No, because Lingering Souls does the job there.
Yeah, Lingering Souls is amazing.
And
in that matchup.
Sorin brings back.
This was
something,
only they mentioned that this was their only second tournament ever. So
pretty good showing.
yeah, it was pretty good.
Pretty good showing. Lost to the eventual winner and to 9th place Jeskai Ascendancy.
That's surprising that they lost. They probably just didn't know what was going on. Maybe I don't know. That could be a hard
Oh, look at the
matchup.
chat.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I don't know. Like the thing about Ascendancy is they can play Ascendancy from hand on the important turn and unearth a Gravedigger, and then and not a Fate Stalker.
wait for the Ascendancy talk. That's in 16th place.
Well, I'm just saying, like,
Yeah.
there isn't much this deck can do about that.
Yeah, that's
unless
true.
It's hemmed away your.
You have to like
Ascendancy
Memorial
with a
side
bounty
away
on it.
like Ascendancy or something.
Like if it hymns you and gets 2 Fate Stitches, they've handed you the game. Anyway. Yeah, because like you just don't. I think mostly you don't leave Ascendancy out to get fucked by a Vindicate. Right, sorcery speed stuff just isn't very good against it because
I like Spyglass in the sideboard. A lot of people playing Spyglass anymore. I thought it'd be super good early
I
on.
don't have played Spyglass once this season. Is it good?
I
What's
like
good
it.
against?
It's good. I mean, you can name
Parallax
Hermit. You can name Hermit Druid. You can name Parallax Wave. It's got some applications. It's not the worst thing ever. I would say, yeah. I mean, also I wanted to point out that Shambling Vent is also just a great man land in general.
Oh
so,
yeah, Shambling Vent's real good. Much better than Hissing Quagmire, sadly.
yeah.
I prefer, Green Black has better mana. Well, yeah, Green Black has better.
Yeah, Green
mana
Black
this
has
season.
better mana.
So I've looked at Green Black a lot more, but it's
But I mean,
land is
you could put
definitely
like you could put 12 1/1 counters on a Hissing Quagmire, and it's pretty great.
That's true.
Especially if he's got trample from Brawn.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Trample Death Touch is a great combo.
Yeah,
All
I
right.
lost to that in the winning in on the last round of a GP in a teams.
13th place, we have a familiar name in Honorbound, who hasn't been very active this season, but came back out of
Just to
retirement
play.
real quick.
Yeah, playing the deck he played early season as well, right? Like the white black.
Yeah, another.
Similar.
This is like a
So-
like a even more value, less punch version of the same
Yeah.
thing.
Same.
A little more aggro. We're playing
I think
Honor of the
the-
Pure.
The correct number of Legion Angels in the main is 1.
That's a
so
lot of
it's-
honors. That's interesting.
Yeah, 4 Honor of the Pure is a lot. I feel
Well, if you have Squadron Hawk in your deck, Honor of the Pure is a lot better.
we got no Johnny.
I do like the. I like the idea of this.
Squadron Hawk, both.
I actually really like the idea of this deck.
This looks to me like way too ponderous. I guess very mid-rangey and probably like loses to all combo and doesn't really kill anyone. But I don't know. He got some good results.
What did we
Honor
lose to?
Bound's
We
a
lost.
pretty good player. So
We lost mid-range Pure and we lost to Cycling, which makes some sense. We did beat up on the Hermit deck.
Kaya's
We
Wrath
did
seems
beat
like a
Red Dead.
blowout. Oh my god. It's like a huge blowout
Kaya's
against his
Wrath
red.
is just fumigate,
But
for incredibly expensive mana cost.
yeah, it's
that you controlled. I see. So the idea is, I'm going to plonk my Squadron Hawks out in front of this red deck wins, and if I happen to kill some of them when I play my Wrath, so be it. I'll gain a bit of life. They got 2 in the main, and along with how many creatures?
like a lot.
14 plus 4 soul.
18 cards that make creatures, and 2
Yeah.
Wraths in the main. That's real interesting.
Yeah, that's a little strange. And also, Tidehull Scholar plays pretty badly with Wrath. But
Yeah.
there you go.
Well, and there's a lot of decks in the history of Magic that were like good enough cards and powerful enough that the fact that they contained some nombos didn't stop them. So I guess this is probably just one of those.
I mean,
Yeah.
and the other idea of this deck is that you get to play main deck spell bombs and with like no downside at all.
Yeah.
Like I was
Always
almost really
nice.
drawn to like a black deck because you could just play main deck spell bomb.
Yeah,
And you could just-
although I will
you
say
just,
that
like-
main deck spellbomb isn't free because it really is a pain in the butt to like 2 mana cycle to try and hit your next land against like red deck wins or something. Like I agree, sometimes it is free and sometimes it's free wins.
Yeah, but like we described in like the matchup with CRAZYBALOTH that played against Reanimator, he just threw a spell bomb and he won the game. It's like sometimes you just do that. You just draw a spell bomb and you
No,
win
I mean,
the
I
game.
played 4 main in the kickoff tournament. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
I was determined not to lose to Druid. I've been playing main deck spellbomb a lot, but I've found it to be not entirely free.
Yeah, I mean 2's a good number, I'd say, and 2's just right here. And they're playing timely. Oh my goodness. How they?
What number are we up to now?
14.
14.
14th place.
No, oh my god, I love this deck already, and I haven't even seen it.
Yeah, I think this is actually a better version of the deck. I mean, they technically had the same record. They were
What the
just
fuck is this?
They were just worse on-
Doppelganger, 4 Phyrexian Dreadnought as like, and 1 Varolz as like an alternate plan in your 4 Fauna Shaman Hermit Druid deck.
yes.
Wow. No Neoform? Or Neoform as well?
Neoform.
And Root Wall is.
Yeah,
Good
and
boot.
for it
What have
was.
they
Yeah, I
got
like
to do this. They seem to have found like 8 slots. They've got Elvish Mystic.
well, that's because the other deck was playing nonsense like Dosan and Teferi. That doesn't do
Barnish
anything.
Warlords. This deck seems to, well, I guess it just has 1 Varolz, but 4 Dreadnoughts.
Yeah.
What
Yeah,
I
mean, I think this is
There, I mean, there
a
are
version
7
first.
slots here that are exclusively devoted to Varolzing.
what I really like
they're playing
is
one-
the sideboard's actually super interesting because it gets around this whole fact that I don't want to play my graveyard. They can just play Greater
That's cool.
Good and like Phantasm
What the fuck is the
Laboratory
answer?
Maniac.
Oh, that's another way of trick binding.
Yeah, rally your both.
I guess
like-
it's slightly better than trick bind.
You can also phase out like
You
an
can phase
opponent's
it using
artifact.
Shadow or something,
Yeah. You can phase out someone's like spell bomb or whatever and just go off in your turn.
Yeah, that makes sense. Greater good. So we think this game's going to go long against Rakdos. So
Yeah,
I'll bring in-
I think Greater Good is nonsense, but I think the rest of this is really good.
I think
you've got
it's
4
no,
Dreadnoughts
I
in
think
your
it's just
deck.
a hedge
You've got
against.
Mana Dorks and you've got
uh,
4 Dreadnoughts in your deck. There's a limit to how bad Greater Good can be.
No, Greater Good is like so they're gonna load up an Graveyard Hate, right? So you go the opposite
Yeah.
way. You just like play Dreadnought, Greater Good,
Yeah,
and you
but
just
like
main-
really drawn. Like you're
What?
drawing 12 cards. You're drawing 12 cards, but what do
keep
you
the
actually?
rolls.
Well, you kill
like,
them.
They don't
You
exile the
just
dreadnought before you get priority with rolls in play, which is
no. It's not even about that. You just try to deck yourself, and then you play Lab Mania.
Oh, I see. I see.
So you
Okay.
set up that sort of turn where you can do that.
12 cards isn't exactly the same as decking yourself, but I guess if you chain all 4 dreadnoughts, yes, you can.
You're bound to
I
hit.
see, I see.
You're
Sorry,
bound to
I did
hit.
not get that. That's hilarious. Amazing.
Yeah, you draw into
Oh, yeah.
lunges.
If only there was some ominous C
Oh my
somewhere.
god, you're just so behind.
I mean, I don't know. It seems a little shaky to me, but I can maybe see it. All right.
What did
The
it
problem
do?
is it takes a lot of
What did
mana.
it
It
do?
does take a bit of mana to do it, and you're
Lost
down on
to-
mana
lost to a
dorks.
red deck and what?
Red
Two
deck
red decks.
and
Two red decks
yes,
actually.
yeah. I haven't really solved that matchup with this.
But no, they went like
They did win against a red deck also.
yeah. Control red. What is control red? They beat two red decks actually.
Be mono blue, okay.
They
Metal works by being a little bit faster, I suspect.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's generally a matchup where you're favored.
Well,
That
that's the first deck list I've seen that's really surprising. Although the
Yeah,
white
it's actually
black
sweet.
ones
It's actually
kinda cool.
sweet. I
I
actually
think
like
it's
it.
sweet.
Oh, they beat 2 red. They went 2-2 against red. I mean, that's
Yeah.
kind of what I would expect. That's not really.
The real
I mean,
spice
the
is the
deck
next
all
deck.
things that die to burn spells, so going 2 and 2 is probably as good as you can expect, isn't it? The lunge obviously is like a free win.
The real spice is in 15th place. Let's be all be
15th
real.
place. Is it necessary? Enigmatic fires. All right. Oh, I saw this deck earlier.
Somebody made a good fires deck right at the end of the season, having it had it been terrible all
yeah.
season.
80 card main deck, obviously optimal.
I didn't even.
We're playing a bunch of one-ups.
We're playing a lot of enchantments, so we're enigmatic incarnationing. Yes, I see it down the bottom there. What the fuck?
33 lands. I mean, for 80 cards makes sense.
Wow.
Is there really
that
a-
deck
Is there a point to
sweet.
playing 80 cards? I guess to fit more stuff.
Yeah, I guess
It's not
your
got
toolbox.
Yorion in the sideboard. Has it got a sideboard? Maybe it's just a fuck up of.
No, it's got a 15-card sideboard.
So it's just literally to fit in all the enigmatic incarnation targets without drawing them too much.
Probably. Yeah.
Well, this is the real winner. Let's be honest. It's got a truffle snout and a tolls me a friend to wolves in it. It's definitely the real winner.
I didn't even know Trouble Snout was a card.
Truffle Snout's an evoke graveyard hate. Oh no, something else. It's like a gain life.
No, that's Awful Snout. You're thinking of Awful
I
Snout.
was thinking of awful snout. Yeah.
Truffle Snout is like a brindle boar, but
Yeah.
better.
It can be a 3/3 for 3. It's probably good in draft.
Path to the World Tree for anything? Wow, that's a lot of tech.
Glorious. So what does it do? So I know what it does in the enigmatic incarnation system. It plays out these irrelevant enchantments that it even wants to die, and then it turns them into its one-off creatures. What does it do in the fires version?
You get it for free.
The one-off creatures for free instead of
Yeah, so now
you're paying for them.
now
I mean, do they have
you're
activated
drawing all this like
abilities?
uncastable stuff, and you're just playing it for free.
It's like a
Garda has
weird.
an activated ability, and that's it.
It's the world's most expensive Aether Vial in this deck, I think.
Yeah, it's interesting. It doesn't seem like Fires really does very much for this deck.
It-
It's the only red card.
You can sack it to your enigmatic. Like you can get value off it.
Can we look at the number?
Yeah,
What
yeah.
is going on?
All right, so one of each. So we got 3 different temples randomly, just one of each of them. And we've got
4
a
different basics, none of which are mountain. Oh no, we have got a mountain, one mountain, and we're playing fires. Can't we just cut red from this deck and have it be like a lot better?
Probably.
Fires
probably.
is sweet
There's probably a lot.
though.
Well, look, let's not. Obviously, we know nothing because it's crushed today. I mean, it had a winning in for top 8.
It did
Yeah.
have a win in.
It was 5-1.
It's cycling. What more can you ask?
On breakers. It has Evil Twin in it, and that card was fucking brilliant in draft. Playing Brain Maggot over Mesmeric Fiend for the
Needs enchantment. Yeah.
effect. But I've been playing Brain Maggot a lot this season for Traverse the Overworld.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is definitely
I'm
a lot worse than Mesmeric
I'm a bit
Fiend
disappointed
before
in
one.
Traverse. Traverse is so hard to turn on.
Traverse, I kind of gave up on it in the end, but I tried many different ways. I tried it in every color combination, every color pair with green, even red green. I played red green traverse with like the blood rush 4/4.
And finally, 16th place, we have the return of the Sultai Control Splash Jeskai Ascendancy deck. Although I guess
oh Jesus, this thing Bohemian Rhapsody. At least
No, this is way different. This is almost more. No, this is more of like the blue-green version.
Okay.
Splash
So
white and red.
Oh, so he's not playing black like he was in the first part of the season.
So
he put an Oust instead of Blood Chief's Thirst in order to drop.
Yeah, this reminds me more of like
still
what
playing
like
Llanowar Wastes though. Why?
Well, we have Duress and Nihil Spellbomb in this Lochmere Serpent in the sideboard, which is very important.
God.
Still have a swamp.
Just like sideboarded birds, like it's like very casually sideboarded birds.
Oh yeah. Well, the birds. I mean,
doing well, but imagine going off with that as your only creature in better draw some white cards or some green cards that can trip.
Oh my God. Too good.
I mean, you know, bandage. Wait, is bandage next upkeep?
Yeah, something like that.
Sure.
Well,
Contagion Probe still untaps your Stirring Wildwood. Concuss Balagade Recovery for a card that actually works. Once you've made
they had a really weird path. They played a lot of interesting decks. They lost to Metalworks. And they beat a bunch of like one weird Sephiroth deck, one a normal one, a Cats deck, then the mid-range deck.
I mean, this is a deck that plays the red deck. The 0/4 on turn 2 and on turn 3 kills you, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's very easy for it to do that.
They got really far without playing a red deck, and then they found a red deck and they lost.
And the Caryatid has to resolve, but once you've done that, like literally any card in the deck untaps the Caryatid and lets you discard, at which point you unearth the Fate Stitch, at which point you can't lose. Like, that fundamental plan, once you've assembled a Caryatid, an Ascendancy, and the right mana, which is not nothing, is very strong. It's very hard to beat.
Yeah.
Because like even if you kill a Fate Stitch in response, you just keep going with the Caryatid, and eventually you find another Fate Stitch and you discard it, and then you know, once you have two creatures making mana, then you play another Ascendancy, and like it's almost deterministic.
Isn't it like Flesh Blood legal? Why do these decks play like Flesh Blood sometimes?
What is Flesh Blood? Mill 8 or reanimate something?
No, it
Flesh Blood is it's like a fling effect. But the thing about Flesh Blood is that the reason they play that in Modern is because they have Glittering Wish to find it. Like I think
once you got to the point where you're able to make a 20 power guy, it's deeply unlikely to be a problem to.
Well, if it's a Caryatid, then you can't attack with it.
Caryatid can't attack.
That's true. But as long as you have some Fate Stitches somewhere in your deck, the fact that you've gone off and drawn your entire deck,
is
enough, right? And Fate Stitcher taps down all the blockers as well. So like, I guess this deck is weak to 2 kill spells on Fate Stitcher on the important turn, but the important turn might very well be your turn 2. So I don't know how many instant speed kill spells you've got for Fate Stitcher at that point. But
yeah, Life Death is the big combo piece.
Oh, Life is the other way of doing it. So if you leave them with just the Caryatid because you've somehow killed both Fate Stitchers or exiled both Fate Stitchers or whatever, then they just get to life eventually and make all their lands untap and tap and tap and untap.
Right.
Which is, except for the one they played this turn, which was very crucial in the game I played in the league the other day. Made sure to point my removal at the land that didn't come into play this turn. Anyway. Yeah. Cool stuff.
It's a fun tournament overall.
There you go. There's your Traverse deck.
It was a fun tournament overall. I actually didn't expect this much red deck to be.
Thought Scour was better than Opt official.
Like no aggro slide decks in the top. No, very few like Metalwork Colossus decks.
Swift to drop out at some point, but I think this is probably one of these at least was a no-show. So
yeah.
But,
oh yeah, like Adrian no-showed their last round because they were just AFK. And, like Taurus missed the winning in.
Well, is it the first PD 500 with no aggro slide in the top 8? It surely is.
Yeah, or top 16. Yeah.
Not in the top 16. That's very pleasing to me. Although, did Swift actually play all his matches in the end?
They missed the last round too. They also
missed the last round,
but they were X2, so yeah. So
they were already X2.
Okay, so we did get Aggro Slide's the best player, giving it his best shot despite some mid-tournament confusion. I didn't think it was extra dominant, Merpedy. I just thought that Metalworks, Druid, and Aggro Slide between them, like, I just could not make a deck that I felt had a good matchup against all three of those. But given that I went, 2-0 against that set of decks in this tournament, I should maybe have just carried on anyway. And like, maybe it's okay.
I think I mentioned this before, but like the fact, like Swift alone dragged up the win percentage of Aggro Slide by 5%.
Well,
right?
that's
like
what I hate about it, because sometimes when I beat Aggro Slide, I could have won in their seat, and that makes me think my deck is bad and I can't play it again, even though I've won. That's happened to me multiple times this season.
And I just lose to Aggro, so I'm fine with it.
But I feel like it's like the new Red Deck Wins. I would never play decks once upon a time that lost to Red Deck Wins, even if they were otherwise good, because it just kind of encourages PD to become this big blob of Red Deck Wins, which is like something that it tends towards anyway, or at least it did in the less powerful seasons in the past. And so now I feel like it's my duty to make something that beats Aggro Slide, and that's actually quite hard, especially if you also want to beat Hermit Druid.
This was
maybe,
my list.
Also, I tend to think that like I deserve like a 65% win rate or something, and if I'm not getting that, something's going wrong. Maybe like the competition has got better, and I should admit that if I've got a 50%
It really
deck,
has,
it's probably
honestly. I think like competition has gotten a lot better.
This season, although I did top 8 the PD 500.
Last season I was like 67%, and this season I was 62. And I couldn't really find a deck this season I really liked. With last season, I like found multiple decks that I could just crush with. So I don't know.
I had lots of decks that just almost wasn't worth playing in the league because it was too easy. Last season, whereas nothing like that this season. Just my little eke it out blue-black. Disfavored against at least 4 of the 5 most played decks.
Right. I actually ended up quite liking this the Abzan Hero deck. I was pretty close to playing it.
I was really surprised when you crushed me with it.
I was surprised you didn't play it, actually. I was really expecting you to play it.
It looks really bad to me, but
it does look really bad.
Yesterday.
Yeah, it's weird. It does look really bad, but I have like a 75% win rate with it over a pretty large sample.
Yeah, I dropped 7% win rate, or 7 points.
Why didn't you decide to play it? I'm just actually curious.
Because I lost. I don't know. I don't really know. It just seemed bad. But then whenever I play it, I just like do well with it. So yeah, it's not called Abzan back. Well, I tried Abzan mid range also, and I figured the best route for that was like doing Seder Wayfinder, Grizzly Salvage, and Burial Rites stuff, which was okay. This deck was okay, but it's not like drawing out like half a Lingering Souls off your Grizzly Salvage or your Seder Wayfinder, or an Burial Rites off your thing. It's pretty good value. And then if you ever hit Magister, you just win. Against a lot of but I like the way the hero deck is like has a low curve and applies pressure pretty quickly. And then you just like crush people with Siege Rhino. That seems to be pretty good. I don't know, but I ended up playing the Wave deck, which I had a pretty good win rate with, but lately I've just been losing a lot with it. So maybe it's not actually that good. I don't really know.
Wave threatened to be really, really good this season. It had lots of tools, too many cards to fit in. It didn't really have good twos, I guess. Although you can always suspend a Cloudscape.
I think its combo matchup was really bad, and there's a lot of combo this season.
Yeah. I mean, it's also bad against Slide. I lost to Aggro Slide twice. I think you have the tools to beat Hermit pretty easily, but the Aggro Slide was just like I got wrecked a bunch.
For those following at home, this is my first season with a below 65% win rate since season 12. Like
I went
2 years ago.
I went 2-2 so much that like my win rate's like barely above 50%. And I went 3-3. And I went 3-3 today.
It was a tough one for the iconoclasts. If you're determined to play a deck of your own device that's good enough, this was a tough one.
Oh wow, it's already up on PD Magic. Just play a deck that just farm leagues with red deck wins, and you can bump it up a little bit.
Well, it's funny. Sometimes I do get around playing red deck wins. It's not an unheard of thing, but I usually don't do that well.
Right.
I may not actually be a good red deck wins builder or player.
I think in leagues I do pretty well with it. In outside of leagues, like in tournaments, it's just like any other deck for me. I don't know.
I went 5-3 this season with red deck wins. That's 62.5%. It's better than my average.
Yeah, so we're actually up on PD Magic now. So I guess this is we had an Abza mid range come in at 5-2. Pretty standard.
Yeah, there are a lot of decks that
Advocate.
miss. There's a ton of 5-2.
It's going to be hard for anyone to beat top 16 with an 80 card main deck involving 4 enigmatic incarnation, 4 colors, fires of invention off 1 mountain.
Oh, we even had a blue-white control at X2.
Yeah, there's a lot of the ones that like kind of miss the cutoff of top 16. That's just how it goes.
They had all the X3s, so yeah, that's just how it goes. All right, I think we'll call the stream here. I'm going to get some.
Yeah. Thanks for hosting. Thanks for doing the top 8.
Yeah. Well done, everyone. We're all done at 7 o'clock, even including the chat. That's was a swift one. I guess we had one less round than the last 2 times.
Thanks for tuning in, everyone. Got a bunch of follows, which is nice. We're at 89 followers. We'll get the big 100 soon.
Good stuff. Good stuff. See you around.